What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first stream of 2022. How are you beautiful people doing this afternoon? It has been, it's been a minute, y'all. I missed y'all. I missed you. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. Matt G, good to be back, my friend. Good to be back. What's good? I'm doing good. I've had a great day. I bought a lot of stuff. Don't worry about it. You'll find out soon. I got a haircut. I did a lot of stuff. And today I'm hanging out with you guys for the first time live in a long time. I think it's been, let me check the maths. Let me check the maths here. Hold on. How long has it been? I don't even think my last stream is on Twitch anymore. And I know my last one here was like a month ago. Oh, there was a local today. That's right. It's Monday. I gotta get back into the swing of things when it comes to locals. We'll do a local stream next week. We'll do a local stream next week. Yeah, basically month and some, basically a month and some days. But hey, we're back now, and that's all that matters. Is anyone? Are you guys hearing static? I think it's just me. I think I know what it is. Hold on, give me a second. I can't hear you, but you can hear me. There we go. That's probably better. Can I get your... Oh, wait. We'll do questions in a second. I just want to say hi to you guys and give you the rundown of what the plan is today. We're not doing a dual stream. Today is just going to be a 2 to 3 hour YouTube stream. It's going to be awesome. The plan is very, very simple. Oh, and that plan is simple. We're gonna talk, I'm gonna answer some questions, we're gonna have a grand old time. I'm gonna do some minor deck building. Probably just gonna build like one deck live and in person. I wanna work on Yellow War Greymon. Mario showed off a really cool like aggro build on his channel that I wanted to look at and like talk about. So we're probably gonna build that live on camera today. And then we're gonna do a tier list for the set 6 meta, because while I haven't been playing nearly as much as I would like to in the set 6 meta, I've been watching what's going on. I've had my ear to the ground, and Jesus Christ, I have some opinions about what people are doing out in this crazy world, and I'm gonna let the world know about it. So that is our goals for today, folks. Also, how am I looking? Good. Bit good. And then let me just quickly, I just want to double check this for my own sanity's sake. Ignore whatever you're about to hear, because you might hear something. Did you guys ignore it like I asked? Welcome, everyone. I'll begin to questions really soon, so if you have any, keep typing them, or type them if you haven't already. That looks pretty good. It looks a little dark, so I can like... Let's turn this up a little bit. Let's see. Let me know if that looks better than what you guys were looking at previous, because like I said, I haven't streamed in like forever. Oh no, that looks worse. That looks exponentially worse. Never mind. I lied. I didn't like that. Oh well, we'll just stick with this. We'll just stick with this, and I'll worry about it later. Okay. But I think we're good. I don't think there's any glaring issues, which normally there are in these types of things. So let me just pull up the chat so I can look at it. Okay. Oh my goodness, there's so many chats. By the way, guys, thank you for all the support and like concern you guys are giving me. Like, I got messaged like, I don't know, 10 to 15 times on various platforms, like, are you okay? One person thought I got enlisted in the Navy and was asking what happened, and I was like, what? No. That was funny. For those that were wondering, by the way, for Thanksgiving, my family and I went to Glamis here in California. It's basically like a sand duny type desert thing that we'd go to do motocross and like camping stuff. We stayed there for Thanksgiving. We stayed an extra week and a half with this group of ours because they had a birthday. And then we realized that my mom's birthday was the following week, so we decided to stay another week. So I basically was in the desert until the 18th of December. And then when I got back, I had to do all of my Christmas shopping in a single week, and I have a big family. So, yeah, it was not fun, but we got it. I decided just to take a little bit of rest for myself as well with Christmas, and then the entire time I was as you can tell, not shaving because, well, after the first week in Glamis, we ran out of like everything in terms of like personal hygiene besides like soap. So I became very unkempt. I was like a nomad by the end of that trip. So that's the whole dealio with me, you guys. I missed you. I'm glad to be back. We're gonna be getting into the grind again for Digimon. I'm probably not gonna play in any tournaments this week. I'll probably just like take the time to build some decks, have some fun, get back in the swing of things. Like if I stream tomorrow, we'll do some like viewer battles. If not, I'll definitely do them sometime this week, so definitely look out for that. I think the next stream will be on Twitch. The reason why I'm doing it here on YouTube is because, well, I figured it'd be better to introduce people to my live streams here on YouTube and then continue them over on Twitch was like the idea. So yeah, the plan today is gonna be some talks, some answering questions, whether it's Digimon or myself related, and then we're gonna head to the deck building screen. I wanna build a really cool like yellow aggro deck and like talk about it and see if I can improve it myself, and then I'll test it like later, and then we're gonna do a tier list, and that's gonna be the stream. The tier list will be a video, so you know, if that matters to you. I'm trying to think though if I need to let you guys know anything. I'm getting a new setup really soon. That has something to do with all the stuff that I bought earlier today. I don't know when I'm gonna actually set it up, but it's gonna be well, you guys probably won't notice that big of a change, but for me it'll be a very big change. Now I'm trying to think if there's anything I needed to talk to you guys about. No, I honestly can't think of anything other than everything I just told you. You know, I don't have any big events happening anytime soon. So what questions am I missing out on here? So no one's hearing static. Good. It must be my headphones. I gotta. Maybe the batteries. Ah, the battery was loose. That'll do it. Let's see. Glad to catch your morning streams. Welcome everyone. What cam do you use for your play area? So if you guys want to check out here, this is a Logitech Brio that you're seeing right now. I'm actually getting a new one though. It's like way more expensive and you don't need to get one. Just get like one of these or a C922 and you'll be good to go. Let's see. What's the best deck of set 6 and why is it D-Brigade? Dude, I've been looking at ever since the starter decks came out. People are in love with D-Brigade, man. And I can feel it, man. I can feel it. What cards do you think will get hit on the ban list? Guys, I know you have no idea how strong this card is if you've only looked at the English meta, but Ice Wall is a problem. Ice Wall's a problem. And yo, Fuli with the first super chat of 2020. Welcome back. Let's build an Eosmon deck. Lol. Fuli, I appreciate the super chat, but man, oh man, you could not be more wrong. Everyone knows I hate Eosmon. And if you stick around for the tier list, I did something very funny with the Eosmon picture. So yeah, so Ice Wall is the only card I think actually needs a ban. I would also like them to bring back Argomon level 5. That's like more of a personal thing. I just feel like the card deserves to come back. But if they just like leave it on there to leave it on there, whatever. Other than that, I also think that Mega Digimon Fusion could be looked at. Maybe like an errata could be good to where it only works on Omnimon Digimon. So that way you don't get that horrible Susanomon abuse that we've been seeing. Anything else I can think of? Anything else I think of? I can't think of anything else that's like super broken. Obviously Savior, you know, Huckmon's a broken card, but it's so archetype specific that I feel like it doesn't deserve a ban unless everyone and their mom plays Jessamon, which if you're in set 6 they do, and if you're in the current Japanese meta they kind of do as well. So you know what, maybe it deserves it. But Ice Wall for sure is like a toxic card, shouldn't exist. And Mega Digimon Fusion needs to be looked at. Those are my two bugaboos. What else? When does NA get EX01? I believe it'll be officially released. Like people will have their product the 21st of January. Don't quote me on that though. That's my guess, because that's when I'm gonna probably get mine. I finally want to get into Digimon. Sounds good, Bazugo, welcome. What color do you personally like to play? So my favorite color is yellow. We all know this. But the color I find myself playing with the most is like black and blue. Like I just am so used to playing with those colors, and I understand like the ebbs and the flows. Whereas yellow is like my favorite deck. I just love that color. I love messing around with it. I will play it as long as I can, and I'm super excited for set 7. Yellow, good stuff. Let's see. Dark Roar, Slept On, and Current D-Brigade. I've seen some lists putting in the Dark Roars. I like it. I mean, you play a lot of D-Brigade dudes, and it's a natural removal spell, and it's really good because against, like, let's say Jessamon, for example, they're probably more willing to promote their level 5s against you, and if you can, like, get a clutch Dark Roar off to kill their savior, like, I think that's GG in most cases. Most anticipated deck out of set 7, definitely yellow. I mean, everyone's excited for that. Ice Wall and Hammerspark needs to be limited. I don't think Hammerspark needs to be limited. I feel like Hammerspark's a really balanced card, actually. Will EX01 change anything for English decks? I do think there's a lot of really neat cards that include the Bond decks. I do think the Machinedramon Cyber deck is something to look at and consider. But whether or not, like, the meta changes, like, you'll see different decks doing better that weren't doing good before, hard to say. I do know some people though that are messing around with some stuff, and we'll hopefully discover some cool things soon. Glad to see you back and live, brand new to the TCG, but I'm about to dive in. Excited to see your tier list. Wondering the best way / place to get into local comps in the US. I think you mean like local competitions, right? So I don't know if there's like a store locator for official Bandai Digimon stores. Anyone in chat can correct me, but a thing that I like to do and what I did for a long time was I would go to the Facebook page for the Digimon TCG community and I'd ask 2 things. I'd ask, where is like national-wide online locals, so you can play whenever you want to from your own house and you don't have to go to an actual locals. And then I would just look up the card shops that are in your area and see if they carry Digimon / host tournaments. That to me feels like the most immediate way to find results that you can apply in your own life immediately. What's that say? I don't know what that is. Have you decided on what you will play into Nats? Not even close. Because I'm 99% sure Nats is going to be EX01 meta, right? And so we need to do some testing. But I do have a good idea of the decks that I like to play right now. Hint, it's Security Control is one of them. That deck is so stupid, man. All my Security Control fans. Hold on, I changed my battery earlier today, but I think I need to take it out. Weird. Okay. Weird. Okay, that should be better. Thoughts on banning Zwart Defeat? Nah. Zwart Defeat's not that big of a deal. Can't wait for Infinite Loop. Yosman, get out of here, foo. You memer. Hammerspark plus Ice Wall make 8 potential cards that can lose you 2 memory and sec is way too broken. Yes, but I think banning both is the wrong course of action. Like, if we're assuming that Ice Wall gets hit, I don't think Hammerspark needs to get hit. If neither get hit, I agree that's bad. But it's only bad if both don't get hit. If Ice Wall gets hit, I think Hammerspark's balanced. Red Black War Greymon looks hot in BT8. Yes, it does. That is my son. Are there formats in English yet? Yes, we've had that for over a year now. Oh, you mean like alternate formats? No, there's just like, we don't call it anything. Like, there's no like format. Like, it's just the Digimon card game global version. I think Ice Wall can live at 2. 2 is a weird number. Like, the way that I've always played Digimon, to me, 2 is the number you play of a card if you want to see it eventually in a game. And 3 is the copy at least you need to play if you want to see it regularly in a game, whether it's the beginning or the middle. And the only real reason I've ever noticed to play 4 copies of a specific card is if you want to see it first before any other type of that card. So for example, if I play 4 Savior Huckmon and only 3 Volcanomon, for example, the reason I'm doing that is so I can see Savior Hawkmon before I see Volcano. That to me is how it always made sense. So if you apply that logic to your ban list, in order for Ice Wall to never really be a problem in any game you play, I think 1 copy to 0 copies is the best course of action. Because at 2, they're probably gonna have it every game, at least once. So that's my thing. Now, is using Ice Wall the problem, or is it the fact that it's compounded with all the other Hammer Spark effects you have in your deck? Is that the actual problem? Because to me, I love the fact that Ice Wall is basically a blank for an entire turn of damage by just going from 0 to 1 on your opponent's turn. But that could be the problem to some people, right? It all depends on like what you look at it when it comes to what the problem is for that card. Thoughts on Ancient Greymon? The card or the deck? Deck's trash, card is beautiful. Thoughts on Imperial Dramon deck? You know, I heard some dudes talking about Imperial this format. I have no opinion of it. I haven't seen it. I have seen Force, like set 2 or set 1.5 Force, and that was funny. So, you know, like if it's anything like that, that's pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked for that. Ice Wall will cost 1, putting your opponent to 1 memory is too broken. What chat widget do you use? It's so cool. I actually need to upgrade it, but it's Stream Elements. BT7 Ancient Gray gets better. Oh yeah. Any hybrid focused strategy gets better in set 7. Let's be honest, y'all. Let's call a spade, why don't we? Do you know what I mean? Oh look, my hybrid deck got better in set 7. Who knew? Even Ancient Troymon gets better. And that's saying something. So let me know, y'all. For the BT6 format that we're currently playing in, excluding like the random EX01 cards that some people have, what are your favorite decks to mess around with right now? Let me know. Because I've already made the tier list, and I think I did a pretty bang-up job of what decks to include and which ones not to include. But it's always nice to hear your guys' opinions about these kinds of things before we get into the actual nitty-gritty. Whoa. Should I invest in a case of set 7? If it's within your budget, sure. But I think it'd be way cheaper for you just to buy the play sets of all the cards you need from that set. You know? So like, honestly, like if you're not a collector or you're not like someone that wants to sell back any extras for potential value, I see no reason why to get a case. Also, I'm not 100% sure if the case will even be that much in terms of value after you take away all your play sets. Hard to say. Like, I buy singles, so, you know, that's the way I think about things. Lilith or Taida, Jess is fun. Jessmon and Gabumon Ancient. People are still playing Gabumon Ancient, guys. Guys, I'm gonna teach you so many lessons today. If you think Ancient Garurumon is good in Gabumon, I'm gonna shed some light for you. Bond of Courage, D Brigade and Jessmon. I need to update my D Brigade deck. Eosmon with ABC is God tier. What's ABC? Do I not know what ABC is? Am I a boomer now? Security Control Jessmon. Oh, you're doing it in the order. I was just like, what kind of deck is Security Control Jessmon? Nick has seen the way. Well, I'll talk about all the Gabumon variants today. Don't you worry. I always love Black Toolbox. You can't go wrong with Black Toolbox, yeah. Guys, the amount of just quality cards that Black has access to now in set 6 is insane. I mentioned it in my last video, or the one I posted today. Crazy. Crazy. Yo, all these people saying Shoutmon, I low-key wanna test Shoutmon. I actually think Shoutmon's a scary good deck. I think it's scary good. Like actually good. Like if you draw well, I think you can beat everything. If you draw poorly, you can beat some things. Steven, how come you don't come to the shop anymore, bro? Dude, so Justin, two reasons. Number 1, Saturdays are like my busiest day. So I can't do Vanguard. And Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. for Digimon is a big yikes, bro. Like, if anything starts after 5 p.m., I'm checking out. I have zero energy at that point. If it starts at like 4, maybe I'm there. Maybe. And that's if I'm not streaming, recording, or editing. Now that I'm back in the swing of things. But I do want to get back, bro. I do want to get back. I gotta make time. With Ancient Greymon and Greymon Core 2, so it might be a high roll deck. Hey, high roll is not bad, bro. Yo, Thomas, yo, happy New Year, brother. I missed you too, man. I actually just saw Emily like right before Christmas too. And we were talking about like how much we miss each other and all the people. We gotta do something. We gotta do something big. Wait, isn't? Oh, that's in June, isn't it? Oh boy. Oh boy. What's your take on D-Brigade Edamon deck? That's not a thing. That's my take. That's not a thing, what you just said. I mean, I don't know what Mad Lad forced you to type that, but that's not a thing, so. Thoughts on the new Machine Dramon level 5 Cyborg archetype? I love it. I think it's a beautifully designed archetype, and I think it can only get better. Also, I think it's pretty good on release, like in at least like a tier 2 deck, no questions asked. Like the engine alone makes it so great. I've been watching Digimon content for a while now, but I'm hesitant to invest. Do you think Digimon has starting power or a fun flash in the pan? So I think you mean staying power, and the answer is I can't answer that question. You know, if your question is, hey, will this game exist 2 years from now? I can't see the future. What I will tell you is the game is fun, very rewarding to get good at, and super easy to get your feet into. Like, I think the barrier to entry for Digimon, believe it or not, has never been lower. I mean, the latest set, every single deck you want to play, I'm almost positive you can build like every competitive deck that isn't like security control or max rarity insert whatever for like less than 200 bucks. And that's like the highest echelon of competitive decks. There's even like cheaper ones that are anti-meta or rogue that we'll talk about later in this video that are also really good. So, I mean, to say invest, I've never liked the term invest when it comes to trading card games, because when you use that word for something like this, it feels like you're using it as an excuse to spend money when you don't need an excuse to spend money. Spend money on whatever you want. I don't care. So, yeah, that's what I'll tell you. Don't invest in Digimon. Buy Digimon cards if you want to play. If you don't. It's that simple. Imagine ridding worlds with Edamon. It's not impossible. There is a universe where that happens. Fun fact. Imagine getting the top 10 with Eosmon. Lol. I will feel bad for whoever lost to that person. I built Lord Nightmon and love it. Dude, when Dan won with Lord Nightmon, dude, I legitimately wanted to meme about that so much, bro. Like, oh, you thought I was gone. And you know what's funny? Like, I'll talk about this later too when I talk about Lord Nightmon, because I am talking about yellow extensively today during the tier list. But a lot of people, like, myself included, were like, Jessmon is just better Lord Nightmon. And to an extent, that's true. Like, in terms of like what the card does. But if you think about like how the decks are built and how you play with the decks, they could not be more different. They couldn't be more different of archetypes. And I'll explain why and why it matters. But yeah, it is really funny. They're like, what? How could a Jessmon deck ever lose to Lord Nightmon, man? It's like a better version of that deck. What? Do you have invite to nationals? I do. I'm already signed up and everything for it too. I spent 50 bucks and got my Titamon deck, lol. Oh, dude, imagine saying that back during Set 1.0 days. Set 1.0 days, that was some pretty expensive time, I'll tell you what. Building purple in Set 1? Get out of here. Good luck. I started going to my local shop for tournaments, and the second tournament I went to, the store owner gave me a bunch of promo packs, and one of the players gave me a sick Red Hybrids deck box. Ah, dude, I still have one of those. I have an Omni deck box and a Red Hybrid deck box wrapped. Ignore all of this. That's a big old mess right there. Ignore all of that. Yeah, but now all those cards are like hold on. This is I haven't done one of these in a while. Surprise market watch. Let's see what set 1 cards are going for. I know some I know some cards retained like a weird amount of value that like maybe shouldn't have. I want to see, like the alt arts will probably keep keep pretty big. Dude, this card. Dude, what wasn't this card like 3,000 bucks or something in the Japanese like market? Like I think it's like 30,000 yen or something. I don't know my conversions off the top of my head, but it was way more expensive than this, and that's because our pull rates were different. But I digress. Here we go. Release special booster. Boom. Okay. So let's see. Omnimon is only 60 bucks now. You know what? That's not bad. I think the highest this ever got was like 200 or something. This is $31. Yo, I own this card. Cool. I own a playset of these. I should really flip these, honestly, and then just buy the regular ones. Let's see. Got those recently for less than that. I got these for $7 each. Oh man. Okay, whoa, I think the highest SR is, oh, it's Lilithmon. Of course it's the Queen. Of course it's the Queen. Let me just double check. Is the Queen officially more expensive than Omnimon? She is. The Queen is officially more expensive than Omnimon. That is hilarious, actually. Dude, believe it or not, there was a time when these were like $6 or $7. I think that's the lowest that card ever got. It's always so funny to think about how these things age over time. Plus, look at all these alternate arts now, man. And this includes 1.5 cards, by the way, in case you're wondering why certain things are here. Gallonmon's still up in price, but ooh, the store champ one is more than the alternate art. I would hope so. I would hope it is. And yo, there we go. Anything else like really funny to me? Dude, regular set one Omni is $8. How the mighty has fallen. He's almost 1/10 what he was on release. Oh my gosh. How the mighty have fallen, bro. Dude, Craniumon's almost expensive. As expensive. Millenniumon's almost as expensive. That makes me happy. This is $8. That's retaining value really well, actually. There's some impressive ones here. Lady Devamon is $8? Jesus. Waifu tax, am I right? I think set 4 cards are still pretty expensive, right? Like, I think set 4 is kind of expensive, isn't it? Cases aren't that much. Well, I don't know how much they should be, but it doesn't look that expensive to me. $40 for Lucy's. Yeah, you know what? That ain't too bad. This ain't too shabby. I mean, once you get past like the really awesome alternate arts, Rise Greymon alternate arts that much? A Goodymon alternate art and Lobomon alternate art are that much? They're the most expensive non-secret rare alternate arts. That's just funny. All right, enough gawking. we learned quite a lot. Buttons. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think it probably is. It probably has the most value because like all the secret rares are pretty relative in price. All of the SRs are just solid cards that will get a good bang for your buck, like Nidhoggmon, for example. Like he may not be worth that much, but the card is a house. Rise Greymon is a beautiful alternate art. It is. All those ones in set 4. Set 4 had some pretty high quality alternate arts. I think set 6 and set like 1.5 / set 3 from the original Japanese set, I think those are still my personal favorites. The set 3 one was when they were doing like that thematic thing of like, oh, these are all themed alternate arts. You know, they're kind of similar, but they're also kind of different, which is why I liked them. But the set 6 alternate arts, when it comes to like just creating beautiful works of art that weren't the regular arts, like, and I mentioned this in my must-have cards video, but I also said like, when you look at the comparison from regular art to alternate art in set 6, the jump in quality is massive. And that's an awesome thing to look for in your alternate arts. Like, I want an alternate art that makes the regular art look like dog. That's what I want. Have you seen the EXO2 Digital Hazard? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I have very much. I haven't seen its impact as of yet in the format. I've seen some, what's the word? Early deck lists of things like Chaos Mode, Crimson Mode, and Blast Mode, Beelzemon. I've seen D Reaper decks. D Reaper decks are insane. That archetype, I think, is crazy. And how it works, how it looks, what it is. And it brings back nightmares from when I was a kid and I first saw the D Reaper and all of its carnage live and in person. Who remembers having nightmares when the D Reaper finally showed up and you were like, what the heck is happening? What the heck is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? That was 6 or 7 year old me. Was I 7 really when that happened? I feel old. It probably wasn't even live when that happened. I was just like that old when I finally watched it. But yes, and I'm getting terrible flashbacks from that. But it's all right. Dude, Evil Jerry. Evil Jerry. I had sisters. I have 2 older sisters. After Evil Jerry, no trust. 0 trust. I watched them like hawks. I think I missed a question, then I briefly saw it. Hold on, I'm just looking really quick here. Oh, here it is. If Mega Digimon Fusion gets banned, will Lilith Loop die? I mean, that's like the main enabler for the loop, so kinda. Did you ever play any of the Digimon video games? Yes, I played a bunch of them. So I started back when Digimon World Dawn and Dusk came out. I never played the original Digital World DS, but I've heard it's good. I then went to do what's that game called? Oh, PS2 Digimon World Data Squad. That was actually a fun game too. It was a weird mechanic, but I enjoyed it. And then I've played Cyber Sleuths, and I think that's it. I actually, I never actually acted on this, but a while ago I had a sub goal to play Digimon World 3 or Digimon Digital Card Battle. I thought either of those games would be pretty fun. I didn't end up doing it, but I might revisit that now that we're streaming again, and now that I want to have cool ideas for streams. And I've never played either of those games, and I hear they're great. So also Digimon Card Digital Battle is like, you know, it's thematic. I played Digimon World 2 on PlayStation. Interesting. What is your opinion on the prize support for Nationals? The alternate arcs look good. The fact that you get boxes is expected. The new event packs have some pretty dope cards in them. The new alternate art Jessmon's really sweet. The cards they gave, you know, that like event pack 1 treatments are pretty cool. I would have liked to have seen a Dynasmon event pack to like go in conjunction with the Lord Nightmon one, but that's just me. I love Dynasmon. And the playmats are all nice. The judge playmat is god tier. I almost want to judge the event instead of playing it because of how god tier that mat is. But there are also really nice ones for the players as well. The fact that you can get multiple mats for placing is pretty cool. And I can't think of anything else worth mentioning about the price support other than it's cool. Hopefully Survive comes out. Dude, if Survive does come out, we're playing that crap. Because from my understanding, it's very gameplay focused, which I've been dying to play a very gameplay focused game. Not like a Pokemon or a Digimon classic strategy game where it's like, get to the end, do the thing. But where it's like, here's a world, enjoy. Kind of like a Breath of the Wild type thing. Obviously not open world, but more like you're focused on like raising these things and doing things with them, and it's not necessarily story driven is what I'm saying, even though it could be. Lord Nightmon and Dynasmon deck, thoughts? I've seen people play with both and it works. Right now I'm a bigger fan of playing Dynasmon and War Greymon, and in fact we might be doing that later during this stream. I think the only deck we're actually gonna like build on stream will be a yellow like aggro War Greymon deck that I saw Mario showcase earlier this week. It looked really fun to me, and I think it's cool, and I want to try it out. Where do you take the judges test to be won? I don't think there's actually an official judge test. I believe it's a community created judge test. To my knowledge, I could be wrong. That could be different nowadays, but yeah. And as long as the organizer knows you or trusts you, you're probably going to be a judge. If you know, I'm sure they will like test you, but that's all I know. It's up to the tournament organizer's discretion, I think, not necessarily like the greater Bandai system. Be like, I'm an official Bandai judge. You know, I don't think that's a thing yet for Digimon. Oh, thank you. I need to find my yellow comments for set 6. I have no idea where they are. There is an official judge test, but it's invite only. You just sign an NDA before taking it. Ah, okay, cool. I didn't know that. Someone leaked it on Facebook and everyone blew up. Oh, Jesus. That's about both Agu and Gabu decks for the future. Well, I don't remember how well Agu Bond and Gabu Bond transitioned into the proper set 7 format, but to my knowledge, as weird as this is gonna sound, I think they got like out aggroed by other hybrid base decks. Or they couldn't kill certain hybrid decks, i.e. Yellow. That was my understanding. Also, the purple strats and stuff kind of like hurt them a little bit too. Ahmed, hello. I'm very new to this game. What deck would you recommend for beginners? So I have an entire video called Building Your First Deck in Digimon. I'm actually working on a sequel to that video for the, new age of Digimon. But the same principles in that first video will apply to anyone starting this game. And the basic idea is do your research. When this game first came out in like March or April of 2020, I discovered it in May. I did not start playing the Japanese version, mind you. I did not start playing until July. And I spent that first 2 months just researching everything I could about the sets, the cards, and the metagame before I even considered building a deck online and playing in a tournament. When I finally did commit to building a deck and playing in my first tournament ever, I had played maybe 1 or 2 games prior, I actually got second place. And I played against a bunch of mirror matches, believe it or not, things that you commonly would win through skill. So that's my recommendation to you above all else, is make sure you understand where you want to go, what type of TCG experience you want to make this into for yourself, and then go from there. That's the best thing you can do, because I've always been of the mindset that it doesn't matter like what the best thing is, what's the most optimal, like what's the most competitive. What matters is what is going to be the most satisfactory for you. And I can't really answer that for you. You know what I'm saying? But I can give you some tips on where to start looking first. Let's see here. YouTube is your best friend when it comes to making decks. Well, there's actually a big caveat when it comes to building a deck out of singles as your first deck, because you never know. Like, you always got to put things into context, right? Like, you have to be very contextual about what decks you're looking for. Make sure they're current, and how can you know what the current format is if you don't know anything about the game, right? So it always comes down to know your research, know the basics. Where is the game at right now? What does the game look like right now? Do I like that? If the answer is no, don't play. If the answer is yes, what types of cards are there? There's red, blue, black, yellow, purple, green. What do those do? Go from there. And then once you know, lock in. Don't just go, best decks Digimon. What? You're gonna get lost. Don't. Oh, by the way, thank you for all the people who have been supporting the beard. It's really just laziness, but I appreciate you. Oh my god, I haven't done this the entire time. If you guys are listening to me, say hi in the chat. And be sure to smash that like button, because believe it or not, liking live streams is broken on YouTube. It's actually insane how impactful it is to like a live stream on YouTube. So be sure to smash that like. In about 10 minutes, let's say 10 minutes, we're gonna transition into a deck building screen, and we're gonna build Yellow, War Greymon, Mastemon, Aggro. You heard right, so that's gonna be pretty awesome. I do need to find my, well, we're starting off 2022 with a Steven hunting down cards expose, because I truly don't know where a lot of my really important cards are for a deck like that, but we'll figure it out as we go. I'm just gonna get the things that I know are important right now. These will be immediately important. Build green gotcha. Go 0-4 in your locals, lol. What's your opinion on Gallantmon starter with the Jesmon engine? What do you mean Jesmon engine? So you like, are you playing Jesmon or are you just playing like Gallantmon? Steven, did you play Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl? I did. I never got the chance to finish it because I forgot my Switch when we went to the desert, but I did play a little bit when I got back. I want to get back into it though. I'm actually in the middle of a ground-only Nuzlocke for that game. Hardcore, it's pretty fun. Thinking about getting back in, this will either make me drop money or not drop money, basically. Gallantmon with the Huckmons and Sistermon. I don't know, does Savior work with Digimon that aren't Jesmon? I'm struggling to remember if he does. I don't think he just says Royal Knights. I would think I would think he's specific towards Jess. But if he works with anything, I mean, that sounds pretty good because the Sistermons support Gallantmon and the Huckmons support the Sistermon, right? Coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, my approach hypothetically, I just pick a boss monster or archetype I like and build from there. Though that probably won't get anything too meta to start. For the record, I just collect. Well then, I mean, it shouldn't matter to you how good or bad your deck performs, right? Like if you're not in it to like win every game you play in and you're more in it just to collect the cards and sometimes use the cards you collect, it shouldn't matter to you then. So, you know, you're good. What one card do you hope to see on the ban list? The first card that I hope actually gets a ban is just Ice Wall because the card is so stupid. But I mean, sometimes you gotta have stupid cards that exist, right? So like having it like one could be like funny, but it wouldn't be like good. I don't think Huckmon deserves to be on the ban list. I don't think, what's that other one? I don't think Mega Digimon Fusion needs to be on the ban list. An errata will be just fine, honestly. And there was one more, dude. There was one more, and I totally cannot remember what the other card was. What I want is for them to take Argomon off the ban list. Like, give me back 4 Argomon level 5. That's what I really want, man. He deserves to be level. He deserves to be at 4. The older Gallantmon that trashes per 10 in discard pile? Yeah, that's a good card, dude. Dude, that was the first ever English competitive deck that I built and topped with. And then I did really well with it throughout the first format of Digimon in English. That was so fun, dude. Are you still playing Vanguard? Yeah, I keep up. I don't actively play, though, nearly as much because I never go to my locals, as I talked about earlier. I need to start going back, though. I really do. Gabu is hard to beat unless you fight fire with fire. Yeah. Dude, Gabubon, man. Dude, we're gonna talk about that today during the tier list part of today's stream. It's gonna be, I have a lot to say. And you know I love Bond of Friendship, but I'm gonna tear it a new one today. Tommy is also on the ban watch. Oh yeah, I know Tommy's on the ban watch, but I think getting rid of Ice Wall will it'll help, but I actually like that Tommy's really good. Like I like Tommy. I like the whole blue hybrid aggro deck. I just think Ice Wall puts it over the edge of being a absolutely stupid deck. Congratulations on being my first DigiTuber. Well, appreciate that. Thank you. You play Bond Jesmon, so you play Courage, right? Or sorry, Bravery. Yeah. Huckmon specifically searches Jesmon. We'll have to pick some up and see what works. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, all the Huckmons, if they're working with a specific type of Digimon, it's usually Jesmon. But all the Sistermons and I think Judgment of the Blade works with Royal Knights, not just Jesmon or Huckmon. What up, Steven? Long time no see. What's going on, Beaches? Welcome. Welcome on in. All right, 5 more minutes, y'all, and then we're gonna hop into the deck building stream. We're really just gonna build one deck, but like I'll talk a lot about it, and I might, if like someone gives me a good idea for a deck I haven't built yet, we'll talk about that too. I've played Pure Jessamon for a while now, and besides the brick, I'm having fun with it. Dude, whoever says, yo, it's so funny to me when, like, don't get me wrong, every deck bricks. But I always find it funny that like people go, I started my first turn with a Tai Kamiya instead of a rookie, so I bricked. I find that so funny to me. I'm like, what'd you do in the next turn? They're like, I hard played a 5-drop champion, and then I evolved into Savior, and then I evolved into Jessamon. And I'm like, that's not a brick then, bro. You had a pretty clear line to do stuff. Errata Ice Wall to battle area only? Oh, so you mean like errata it to where it only applies to what's in play? I don't know. I don't think that'll fix it. Because like you have the added problem of the security effect. Like if you play both that and Hammer Spark, you have 8 ways to gain 2 memory during your opponent's turn if they attack you. And if you're playing an aggro deck, like they have to attack you. Like that's how they're gonna win. Like they can't just wait. You're gonna kill them if they take too long. Ah, okay, cool. I figured Savior was like generic in a sense. How should I get into this game? I have a video called how to play the game and how to build your first deck. I will be making sequels to those sometime in the near future though. So if you want to wait for that, feel free, but those videos will more or less give you everything you need to start researching and figuring out where your best place to fit in this game's community is. Did you have or have done a video on common mistakes players make? I wouldn't say that. I have made a video on, I think I called it my top 5 tips or something. And it really is like, I'm gonna berate the mistakes that people do and tell you what you should be doing instead. That's basically what that video was. I also have a video talking about how to really build decks in Digimon, because a lot of people have opinions and they have like this idea of what a proper deck list should look like, but they're wrong. and over the formats, people have really learned the lesson of like what a proper hybrid deck looks like. How to build around a win condition and not build around a color, stuff like that. That's what that video will kind of cover. Should I make a sequel to that? Nah, I think people kind of get it now, more or less. And you can always go to that video and you'll learn the lesson. As a yellow player, I'm wondering what cards you think are good to use versus other meta stuff right now. Jessamon's annoying and black is kind of annoying as well, but I'm thinking I just need to play better versus it. Black is definitely annoying, especially if they are playing like a Zubagon Punch, like Black Royal Knight deck, or if they're playing Craniumon shenanigans. But I actually think yellow's a scary good deck against Jessamon. Like War Greymon is real. It's surprisingly really good into Jessamon. Like it's really good. And Lord Nightmon too, for several reasons. Would you recommend having a boss monster in your deck over building into a certain strategy? So again, the way you're saying that already proves that that's like not the correct way to think. The way you want to think of it is, what's your win condition? And no matter what, I don't care what else you can paint it as, you build around that win condition. That's what you do. If your win condition is like a certain level 6 / a certain combo of board plus level 6, then yeah, build your deck around that. But it's not necessarily the case. For example, Rookie Rush is not built around a boss monster, but it is built around a win condition. That win condition is usually pure aggression. Attack as many times as possible every turn. That is how you build your deck. All right, that's your goal for your synergy. Where a deck like Jessamon is, oh hey, let's set up an OTK with Jessamon. Okay, what cards can help me do that? Right, go from there. Shine is also surprisingly good against Jessamon. Yeah, but Shine, I'll talk about this later too, because I am going to talk about Shine during the tier list. Shine is the worst yellow deck to go into security control Whereas Lord Nightmon is the best yellow deck to go into security control. And while Jessamon may be the most popular deck, the one that is performing the best with the amount of people that play with it is security control / Three Musketeers. So, always good to consider those things when it comes to picking a deck for the meta. Plus, I think yellow does fine against Jessamon. Yeah. Basically, if you play Sakuyamon in your yellow deck, you're gonna beat Jessamon. I hate to be that guy and say like one card counters a deck, but like Sakuyamon straight up dumpster fires Jessamon in this. Like when you drop the Sakuyamon against the Jessamon player, their mental breakdown, it's juicy. And I play Jessamon. I hate seeing it too, but it's funny, man. And their best answer to a Sakuyamon is freaking Gaia Force. Oh my god. I do think Xiaomon's really good too. Like I said this earlier at the top of the stream, like I think Xiaomon is actually a really good deck. Like no cap, it's pretty good. I should have included it on the tier list, but I didn't think of it. I'll mention it though as like an honorable mention. All right, so let's go ahead and build this deck. All right, so we're gonna be building yellow. These are sleeved because I grabbed them from another yellow deck I had built. I don't know what exactly I need, but I know I'm gonna need like all of these. So it's gonna be like a more aggressive yellow deck focused around Mastemon and War Greymon. Let me just figure out here. I took a photo of it earlier. My boy Mario just talked about it on his last video, I think. So we're gonna need a lot of stuff here. It's a bit of an all over the place deck. I might change around a few things for my own personal playstyle, but it doesn't look too bad. Okay, so we're gonna need some things from over here actually. Okay. Do I need anything from here? No. No, I do not. Okay, and then these are over here. I have a memory that works. Not that. Not that one. Not that one. Do I not have more yellow in here? Oh, no. I know where my yellow cards are. All right, time to play my favorite game. Find the cards in the mess. Okay. Oh, it does say that. Okay. Good. This one will take a second, guys. Bear with me. Hey chat, does anyone know what set Meikumon comes out in? It's the yellow level 4 cat from Try. What set does she come out in? I thought it was set 5. Is it actually set 4? Let me know, because I don't know. My guess is it's set 4. Thank you guys. Okay. So set 4 is this one. I have organized some cards, just not all. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you. Bam. Over there. Okay, so I think I've got everything. Oh, right. Honestly, not sure why this card's in the deck. But we're gonna start with the base build and go from there. Oh wait, no, I know why this card's in here. Never mind. I get it. The idea, I guess. He's also treated as yellow, yeah, so it's fine. The deck plays 2 Rise Greymon, and I couldn't figure out why for a second, but it just clicked. Oh, I needed one of those. Okay, I think... Oh, I didn't grab those. I'm dumb. Okie dokie. All right. Let us organize this. Oh, let's get everything out of sleeves too. Does anyone else build decks like this where you just like throw all the cards in a pile then sort it out later? Who else does this? Am I relatable today? I woke up relatable, so hopefully I am. One of these days, y'all, I'm gonna get organized. I know I keep saying it and it keeps not happening, but one of these days. Oh, did I only grab 3 Blinding Ray? It should be 4. Feels correct to me. Oh, wait. Need 1 more of each. Oh, come on. I have an Angelwoman lying around here. If I was Angelwomans, where would I be? Where would I be? I just saw some. Brain, why don't you work? Bam. Boom. Okay. And that should be everything. This deck list is definitely all over the place, so it probably could have some, you know, streamline ability, but, I mean, the theory is solid enough. It's basically aggro yellow. Alright, now let's see if we got, let's see. We got 3, 7, then we got 3, 5, 7, 9. This should be 11. It is. This is 13. And then this is 4, 7, 10. So 10, 23, 34, 43, 50. Boom. So now we can look at it card by card here. So the idea of this deck, if you guys cannot tell, is if the 4 Blinding Ray wasn't obvious to you, it's basically like, okay, so in this format, if you're playing against an OTK deck, they're not gonna attack you until they have their OTK. And so being able to go for stuff like Mastemon on top of Wizardmons to still have it be your turn and deal a free damage, attack them, and then go for like a Blinding Ray, and then like play a Mimicmon. or if you have the Blinding Ray first, you can like Blinding Ray, go to 4. If the Mimicmon's already in there, you can Mastemon to put the Mimicmon in the trash if you like Digibursted it, for example, and then you can bring it back and gain 2. Like, you can do a lot of stuff. The ultimates are designed to either put stuff in the trash for Mastemon, let you get free dudes when you attack, or recover / get you free things. Honestly, I think this should be a 4th Digiburster, and I wouldn't mind it being a 4th copy of War Growlmon. I'm actually going to do that right now. I think that's better, because I don't really see a point to Sirenmon, other than like maybe you could hard play her for 5 after Blinding Raying. I guess that seems good, but I'd rather just play War Growlmon. He's the best card in yellow for a reason. And you're doing the split because getting the free TK is like worth it. We're not playing any level 7s, and I think that's because we have a heavy Mastamon count, and Zwart Defeat doesn't kind of fit in this deck. You'd rather have the free removal, so Wyvern's Breath is like the replacement for level 7s in this deck. And you play a bunch of memory boost cards, so it's not that expensive. The Mekumon's interesting. It's probably like a really awesome card to get off of Mastamon because you can use it to get rid of like Blancs or certain blockers and whatnot. Or it can combo really nicely with like other things you have in play. But Dynasmon, I struggle to see why it's in here other than if you are against Bond of Friendship, for example. It seems like a good answer to that. I feel like this might be better served as a Sakuyamon slot, because while this is able to search for, you know, both of your other level 6s, having this be Sakuyamon feels really good to me. But I'll try it with Dynasmon for now, because he can search for everything in this deck, and he does, you know, get rid of your security, so he combos nicely with all the other cards. Like, you can evolve into him for 3 thanks to your Wizardmon's effect, and he can like help you proc Mimicmon and stuff. We have the Gatomon as our only blocker, which I'm not in love with because it banks us keeping our Mastamon in play. But the recovery on play is pretty useful for maintaining that constant 3 security. And then we just have a pretty standard rookie lineup here. I mean, this feels pretty good to me. I struggle to see how this wouldn't work. Oh, Dynasmon fuels the trash. That's a very good point. I always forget he mills the rest. That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, I could totally see this deck doing wonders. No, Lucy, you're playing the Patamon, and the reason why you're doing this is you only have 12 rookies. So, like, if this was your Lucemon, you wouldn't be able to evolve going first as optimally. And maybe that's why it's worth it to have a card like Sirenmon, because, like, if you're gonna hard play something, it better be an ultimate, right? Alright, I guess I'll keep it in here for when, like, you draw, like, terrible, terrible hands. I would like another rookie in this deck. I feel like TK isn't needed. Obviously, it's, like, the best thing in the world to combo with everything else. This guy only lets you gain memory when you're at exactly 3, right? Yeah. So it's not, like, as great as it could be. Yeah, I think you can still find room for Sakuya, but like I guess the argument is like if you're already beating Jessamon, you should also be beating Bond of Friendship, because I mean I struggle to see how Bond of Friendship can beat this deck, right? Like if you think about it from a standpoint of Mastamon can allow you to survive their turns, / you can constantly control their board, so they have to constantly keep promoting. And as long as you have at least, you know, 3 security or a Dynasmon during the turn they go for their Jessamon, you know, for their Bond of Friendship, it feels tough for them to kill you. Also, I think you can play a lot slower against them. That's the whole idea too. Is like you can play so slowly against them, and then you have the big. Like, the Blinding Rays, the real source of their power is you play 4 Bushy and Mastamon, so that's like 3 damage guaranteed in like over 2 turns, right? So like you can be super aggressive with this deck. And Koromon over Upas, you're gonna wish you had that 1k so many times. The deck does feel consistent enough to where I don't think you need the draws off these, and you are naturally more aggressive. The problem, I guess, is Mastamon, like having a Koromon with Mastamon does nothing, but having an Upamon with Mastamon and Angelomon is pretty stupid, right? Have you talked why no TK and Kari? Probably because TK Takaishi is just better, and then you're tight for space. Like, if you want to play at least 2 of these, then I guess you can do like a 1 of TK and Kari, but I would assume 3 TK is just more consistent overall, because you have so many avenues of gaining memory. Whether it's Mastamon Mimicmon combo, or it's Mastamon Mimic plus Wizardmon combo, or it's Mastay Blinding Ray Wizardmon combo, you know, like memory is not a problem in this deck by any means. Why not add Omnimon Defeat to get rid of the Tamers or Matt for Memory Tamers? The reason why is because in this deck, you're really thirsty for DP reduction, and the best avenue for DP reduction in yellow with a deck like this is Valderarm. But because you're playing mainly Mastemon as your main boss, you can't go into Valderarm, so you are playing the Wyvern's Breaths instead. These, I think, are what the level 7s should be. Again, I didn't build this deck. I'm just looking at it with you guys, and I'm making my own assumptions about like the purposes of it based on what I know this deck or this kinds of combos of cards are trying to do. And I like the idea of it. It's an aggro yellow deck. I don't think it's better than just a regular Lord Nightmon deck, because like you need to have like a certain combo of cards. Like if you just open Mastemon with no Digibursters and no Dynasmon, you're probably not doing anything. But if you can set it up to where you go for like a Mastemon plus a Dynasmon plus like a Blinding Ray turn, like the amount of advantage you're gonna recur, whatever that word is to mean like you'll get it, it's pretty good. But I guess like it's so easy just to go for game when you have access to Angelwomon 4 bushy Mastemon combos, especially with like Wizardmon and TK making it really easy. A cure, yeah, procure, whatever that word is. You guys know what word. You guys speak English. You guys know. Procure. I definitely like the look of this deck. And it feels almost impossible to get like OTK'd on, even though you mill yourself of security all the time. Well, no. So Mastemon's a safer way to be aggressive. So the way you should think about it is, in order for War Greymon to deal 2 damage, guaranteed, he needs to survive the first attack. Mastemon guarantees 2 damage, even if she dies when she swings. All you need is the 3 memory. But same goes for War Greymon if you evolve into it in swing. So that's why Mastemon's considered to be a more consistent form of aggression. And she also builds board, so she can naturally help you against security control. Keep in mind, guys, I think the idea with this deck was they wanted to play the yellow War Greymon, like Dynasmon strat of being able to like if you have Dynasmon in play, like this is a really broken combo, but if you have Dynasmon in play and War Greymon, your War Greymon that turn is free because Dynasmon will replace your security. So definitely understand. Who are you battling to test this deck out? I'm not gonna test it. I'm just talking about it, and if I want to, I'll test it for myself in the future. But I want to see if there's any immediate changes that I think need to be made. And like I said, the only thing I could really see is the second copy of War Greymon to give you access to 4 Digibursters to make Mastemon more consistent without the need for Dynasmon. That's my whole thing. Otherwise, I like the deck. I like the Angelwomons a lot. I wish there was a way to recover, but not when you were at less than 3. But I guess you want to stay around 3 the entire time. I would add blockers. We have 2 blockers here in the form of Gatomon. I agree that I think they're probably the worst blocker you could play in this deck. In terms of like if you want to be like consistent. But they are the most powerful blocker you can play, as they are both a blocker and a way to recover like Angelwomon. So like I get why they're in here. Also, if you think about it, like you're either killing your opponent, killing their Digimon, or they can't kill you. So like why do you need blockers? Reinforced memory boost, I fail to see the purpose that would serve other than recovering over. And a lot of your effects require you to be at exactly 3. So like the closer you can get around that number, the better you are. So like I get why you're not really playing recovery cards in this deck, but I'm just not sure. I definitely like the Wizardmon Mimicmon combo because like this is a 2-drop level 4 in certain circumstances, which is like pretty crazy if you think about it. And if you ever catch your opponent, like for example, like we know when Jessamon is ready to go for their OTK. If you're able to go for a Mastemon and like pass over the turn, who cares what happens? and then next turn, like, go for a Blinding Ray, Wizardmon, play Mimicmon, play Angelomon, or, like, do a bunch of shenanigans, like, I severely doubt they'll have the ability to kill you. So, you know, I can definitely see how resilient this deck can be given the timing of when things are going to happen. What other decks have you gone over? I started watching a few minutes ago. This is the first and only deck I'm going to talk about in terms of like deck building. After this, and I figure out a list that I like, we're going to switch over to the tier list for set 6. That's going to be the remainder of the stream. If you haven't already, guys, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos and streams in the future. And do it all because not only are you guys the true squad, but liking live streams is actually hilariously broken on YouTube, so it's crazy. Please check your Discord channel. I've linked you a War Greymon deck. War Greymon deck. Like pure? You typed it out. Oh, it's yellow. This is similar to the first one that I profiled. And that's why I wanted to talk about this deck. It's very similar to the first yellow deck that I was messing around with at the beginning of set 6, the testing I was doing before the set actually released. And I wanted to take a look at it. I really liked it. Not too shabby. Yeah, also War Greymon naturally is really good against Jessamon. Like, the idea is that War Greymon's naturally good against Jessamon, Mastimon's naturally good against all the security control shenanigan decks, and is also naturally aggressive against the aggro decks. And then we have Dynasmon, who isn't as great as Sakuyamon at halting OTK decks, but he enables us to fill our trash, which is good for Mass Day, and he can let us search for multiple different level 6s that we might need. And he does inadvertently protect you against OTK. So, like, you know, these cards all work together. They're all very meta relevant, and the way you can play with them, especially given this resource engine, is pretty impressive. I'm just struggling to see, like, where the deck could falter. It feels like this is a going second deck, by the way, as weird as that sounds. This is as close as you're gonna get to a yellow pure deck that likes to go second. Not necessarily because you want your opponent to play cards, but because you just want that extra memory and that extra card draw. You looking forward to EX02? I am. That set looks really, really impressive. I am dreading the nightmares that will be fueled by what's it called? The D-Reaper, but it's all right. All right, so let's go ahead and do a quick just profile of this deck so I can talk about it in order and everything that I think I've learned. And I'll talk about the one change that I made, I guess, because I did make a change, so. I'm not sold on the eggs. I do think Koromon could probably be better, but I just feel like if you're ever attacking with Mastemon, you'd rather have Upa. And if you're attacking with War Greymon, chances are 6K is enough. But if it's not, you have access to things like War Growlmon, you have access to things like Rise Greymon, and you still have things like Starmon, so you can make it up if you really needed to. So I don't feel like it's super necessary to play a card like that, if all you need is like 1 more K discrepancy. Alrighty, so the eggs are pretty simple. The deck is basically security aggro, where you use your security as like your deck's main resource, and in doing so, you create the advantage necessary to attack your opponent, or control their board, or gain memory, all that fun stuff. So we have Upamon to allow us to draw cards when we're at 3 or less. Super good just to help us net advantage. Maybe draw into more level 3s that we can play off of Angelomons. Pretty solid. And then we have the one of BBmon to give us that occasional +1 memory when we swing. It might come up a lot in this deck because we stay at 3 quite often. Starting off, we have the king of the deck, 4 Bushy Agumon, main win condition. We can recycle this with Mastermind. We can play it from our hand often thanks to the 4 Blinding Ray and 3 TK we play. So it's actually a pretty useful card in this deck. We have 4 Pulsemon and 4 Starmons, just the best rookies in yellow. Nothing really crazy to talk about there, honestly. Hey. And then we have the 1 Patamon. It's like an extra form of recovery. It's also able to evolve into a champion. And a really cool thing that I like about it is if you're at 1 or less security when it's played, you can basically use it as like a pseudo form of, like, basically it's 2 recoveries, right? Because you can like evolve it into a blocker. In this deck though, it'd probably be better to actually play this and then like hard play, as weird as that sounds, the Gatomon from your hand, because you can get another recover plus another blocker. But you know, if you play like normal blockers, it'd probably be pretty cool. Next, we've got the main engine of the deck. We have 4 Wizardmon and 4 Mimicmon. So these are 2 new cards from set 6. They both revolve around gaining memory. This one is once per turn when a card is removed from your security stack, gain a memory. So basically, your Blinding Rays can give you 3 memory instead of 2. Your War Greymons can gain you a memory, and your Mastermons become 3 cost to evolve instead of 4. Pretty useful. And then Mimicmon is on play if you have 3 or fewer security cards, gain 2 memory. So if you ever Mastermon yourself, you can Mastermon for 2 now. Or if you like, what was the thought that I had? You could start your turn at 5, go for like a Blinding Ray, go for like a Digiburst to put this guy away, and then you can go for a Mastermon to play this and evolve into another ultimate for your turn. Pretty cool. Nice way to kind of chain up, I guess, while also just gaining memory. And then if you have both, it's like a 1-cost evolution Mastermon, which is pretty funny. And then we have 2 Gatomon and 1 Mikumon as like the tech level 4s, because we are playing a Mastermon deck, so you're able to like recycle these and use their effects over and over again. This is a blocker and can recover you 1 when you're at 3 or less. It's only a blocker though when you have a purple Digimon in play. So if you don't have Mastermon in play, it's not a thing, but it is a very powerful card to recycle. And then Meikumon is on play if you have 3 or fewer security cards. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 for the turn. It can get rid of like Blancs, pesky things that are like trying to OTK you, or it's really good against like a bunch of just random stuff that are trying to like keep board presence, and you can like use it in conjunction with Mastermon to get DP reduction, which isn't normally a thing that Mastermon can do effectively. Of course, we got 3 Angelmon. This wouldn't be a aggro yellow deck without this card. We have 2 other starter deck Angelmon that allow us to kind of maintain around 4 to 3 security during the entire game. That's important because it allows us to, you know, proc our Blinding Rays or our Mimicmons without actual repercussions. And we don't get too low, so that way we don't like lose to our opponents. Next we have for our Digibursters 2 Rise Greymon and 2 War Greymon. This is the only change that I made from the deck that I mentioned earlier. It was originally playing 3 and then 1 Siren, but I don't really understand why Siren's in there, so I took it out. And the reason why War Greymons are super cool, Digibursters in general are super cool, is Mastermon requires cards in trash, and so like if you start your evolution chain with a Mimicmon, you can Digiburst it and then get it back, or a Mikumon, you can Digiburst to get it back. Wizardmon, not so much. You'll want to keep him whenever you can, but that's the idea. The reason why you're doing the split and not just the 4 War Growl is because sometimes your opponent won't have anything in their battle area, and so you're like wasting your War Growlmon. If you have a Tamer in hand, you can use the Rise Greymon and not actually waste something, which is pretty cool. Also, he combos nicely with War Greymon, which we also play. For the level 6s, we have 2 War Greymon, 2 Dynasmon, my favorite Royal Knight, and 3 Mastemon, the Queen herself. Pretty self-explanatory. All these cards revolve around your security stack. They all enable different things. Dynasmon's the newest inclusion, I guess, to this type of strategy, in that it allows you to not only fill your trash, but also search for other level 6s. So if you are like thirsty for a specific type of card, it can fetch it for you. War Greymon's like the definition of value incarnate. You can trade with anything that's rested. You can pressure any level 5 in existence. And you can attack multiple times. And if you proc it with a card like Angelmon and Double Bushy, we all know how strong that can be. And And then Mastamon is the star of the show. She's basically, in my opinion, a guaranteed War Greymon if you can attack with her the same turn you play her. So basically, the turn you evolve into Mastamon, you can guarantee a damage dealt. You can play a free dude, get any on-play effects, and then swing. Potentially get another thing to call out if you have the Andromon available. You see where this is going, right? So the idea is this is kind of like, I don't want to say it's like an anti-meta deck, but you have strategies against all the big players in Digimon. You know, you have a really good answer to Jessamon or decks that need to establish board in like an instant if they want to get like OTK value. You have a card like Dynasmon, which not only can make your deck more consistent, but can slow down those OTK decks by making it to where they need to attack you one extra time to actually kill you. Then you have Mastamon, who's really good against the security control, the Three Musketeers, and believe it or not, the aggro decks of the world. So yeah, pretty solid lineup in terms of like being very well-rounded. The only card I could consider finding room for in here is a card like Sakuyamon. The only reason you should play Sakuyamon, though, is if you're having an actual trouble against things like Bond of Friendship or things like Jessamon. If you have a strategy in your deck to beat them already, you shouldn't need a card like that because it's very like particular to what it's good against. But it is really good against it. And then finally, option cards. Again, it's the security aggro deck, so we're playing, boom, 4 Blinding Ray. In this deck, it's crazy. This card can give you 3 memories sometimes. It can enable some crazy plays with Mastamon, and it's basically a way for us to never be choked ever. We can do whatever we want, whenever we want. And then we have 3 Wyvern's Breath. You'll notice that we're not playing any level 7s in this deck, and I think this is the reason why. Because you need to have some form of like big spot removal when you need big spot removal, and the best option that yellow has for that is Wyvern's Breath or level 7s. And because we're not playing the most like uniform level 6 lineup, it's hard to find room for things like Valderarm, and Zwart Defeat is a little too slow, I think, in terms of a removal option. So Wyvern's Breath is the best option for that. And then we have 3 TK, just to round it up. I actually really like the idea behind this deck. I love aggressive yellow deck, and I will definitely give it a try once I figure out for sure if this is the version of the deck I want to play. I might test it the next time we go live. But yeah, any questions about this deck or any other decks that you guys want me to talk about? This is like the deck building section. Not only will you guys help me build decks, but I'll help you if you guys are struggling with card choices and stuff. So ask your questions now before I move on to the tier list. Is Wyvern's Breath? Yes, it is. Also, fun fact, Dynasmon's my favorite Royal Knight. I think I mentioned that already, but I just love Dynasmon. How long have I been live for? Dang, I've been live for, what is that? What's that say? Crazy. Can you give your opinion on purple in BT6 and BT7? BT6, solid. I just think there's too many different decks. I think, sadly, the best version is Three Musketeers. But I think a close second is definitely Titamon. And then BT7, I mean, Lucemon Fall Down mode's pretty impressive as a card. What's your Black Royal Knights looking like? I showed that off in my All My Decks video. It looks more or less the same. You know, sub in the occasional Zubagon Punch when I'm feeling wild. But I did profile today a Craniumon deck that I am in love with. And I have it right here. Super fun deck. Definitely check it out. Most recent video, posted it this morning. Super fun deck, this one. Why does green keep getting the shaft in BT6 and EX01? Because its time will come in set 7. How many polls were you playing? It's 4. What's my favorite deck this format? Definitely Bond of Friendship. No question. And what format are you looking forward to? I'm looking forward to EX01 in the sense that Machine Dramon will come out, but I'm looking forward even more to set 7 and how different our format might be given the potential ban list that will be in effect by that point, hopefully. Do you think the new option memory boost cards are staples? It depends on your deck. Like, if you need those cards, sure. If you have the room, like a card like Reinforcing Memory Boost is super specific. A card like Howling Memory Boost is super specific, but a card like blue, red, green, blank memory boost is generic and can find room in any deck. But if you need it, if you don't need it, then you shouldn't play it. The decks that'll need it are the ones that need to extend beyond that natural 3 memory that a memory tamer can provide you, or need that dig for a particular card. What are your 3 favorite TCGs of all time? Ooh, of all time. That's a tough question. I haven't thought about it. I don't think I have an answer for you. But I have played 11 TCGs competitively over my, what's this? I'm going on 10 years plus competitive TCG experience. And there's a lot of winners. There's a lot of great games. Even the dead ones. Remember, guys, a dead game is not a bad game. It was just an unsupported game. Big difference. What are the best cheap decks? The best cheap decks are D Brigade, I think. Are current D Brigade lists playing Defeat? I don't think they are. If they're not, then D Brigade. If they are, maybe not D Brigade. Green. I don't know if OTK is expensive, but Green Control is cheap. It's not that great, but it's cheap. What's the best cheap deck? I think Jesmon's pretty cheap, right, Chad? Like, Jesmon's like $6. I think set 4 Omni's like 10, 15 bucks. But I bet you could build the whole thing for like less than $100, right? No question, right? No question. I haven't tried, but I'm pretty sure. It's just the tie tamers. The tie tamers are expensive. How expensive is tamer tie? Like $10? Starter deck Greymon. Yeah, starter deck Greymon is expensive. That is true. But can't you get the starter decks from freaking Walmart? I'm pretty sure I've seen them at Walmarts. So like, you know. I've seen the red starter deck in Walmarts and Targets. I know I have. And not just in my area, but in all over. Well, you don't need to get the Biyomon promos anymore. Now that we have the Gyumon starter deck, or sorry, the Galmon starter deck, you can get the better card in Gyumon. Gyumon's better. What's your favorite version of Gabubond? Well, if you're asking current Steven, like the answer is the red one that plays Lightning Joust and stuff. That deck's sick. I don't know if it's like, quote unquote, the best one, but I like it a lot. My personal preferred way to play it, though, is pure Bond of Friendship, which that version is basically. It's just like a adapted version. Orange County sells out pretty fast. True, it does. They don't have the Greymon you need. No, I'm positive the original set 1 starter deck is at Walmarts and Targets. I've seen it. I've seen it with my eyes. Favorite Tamer Evo card. What does that mean? Tamer Evo card. What does that mean? Thoughts on Agubond? Good meta call if you're expecting, you know, Set Control, Jesmon, and other bond-based decks. But it is less consistent than Bond of Friendship. Just a fact. Equally as powerful and has better matchups, technically. But less consistent. Do I think Jukaimon BT7 is insane? I think it's a cool card, but to call it insane, I think is a stretch. It looks cool. It looks insane. Did you do an Agumon list at all to be like you showed today, or will it be the VOD? I made a Yellow War Greymon deck today. I'm gonna be doing in just a second a tier list though for the set 6 format, and it will be a video. What decks do you think will be good when EX01 ends up legal? Well, I think all the decks that are good will stay good. I don't think they get any worse. But some decks that get better are like Diobormon. A new good deck will be the Cyber deck of like Machinedramon and stuff. How good, I can't say until people start playing with it, but I like their strategies a lot. Galamon Crimson mode is pretty nuts. I've seen the list people use it in. It's pretty crazy. I think the Blast mode Beelzemon though is a better deck because of like how it flows and stuff. And also I love Blast mode Beelzemon so freaking much. So, you know, I'm a sucker for that. How do I feel about a Zulongmon? Cool card. Nothing beats nothing, guys. Hear me now. In set 7, I will find a way to break Ibanwumon. That will be my personal goal in set 7. Is to play a broken Ibanwumon deck that destroys everyone's dreams. That's my goal. How would you upgrade the new blue starter deck to be competitive? Get the Ulforce stuff from set 1.5 and combine it together. That's what I'll tell you. Because it actually works really well together. Do you still play newer sets on TTS? No. No, if I test, it's with like proxies or really it's like a judgment of like we'll watch people that play and we'll like talk about their moves. So like I won't be the one playing, but I'll like watch people play with the cards because I have friends who have like everything proxied out all the time. And it's like I'm playing with them, but I'm not. I never did like playing on TTS. Fun fact, I never liked it. I know people use it and it's a great tool for anyone if you enjoy it, but I'm not a big fan of manual stuff. I know like real life is manual, but like it's a different feeling when it's with my real hands, you know? Any thought on Eosmon? Guys, any question you have about like what do you think of this, what do you think of that, we're gonna talk about all that shiz in just a second with the tier list, so don't worry about that. Let me pull that up, actually. Okay. Let us. I'll give it. Let's see. I'll give it five more minutes. If you guys have any like pressing questions you want to ask. And then I'll hop into the tier list. And it will be a video, by the way, so get your like high YouTubes ready, even though we're already on YouTube. Isn't that crazy? I'm gonna be doubling up on content, chat. Get ready. Where can I find that red blue Gabumon deck? I don't know where you can find like lists for it, but I've seen certain people use it in events like, oh god, like Mario's events. I think I saw someone in GFG post a list, but I have no idea where it is. My guess is their Discord, but I can't be sure. And really it's been a thing that like people are just talking about versus like actually playing regularly with. But you'll get the idea. Do you prefer red tech or back for revenge in Gabumon? People play back for revenge in Gabumon? Is my answer to that question. What is your favorite card from EX01? Ooh, I mean, it's got to be Machinedramon, dude. That archetype is beautiful. Oh wait, no, it's what's the option card called? Black option EX01. What's it called? It's like called Grand Connection, right? Or what is it called? It's called like Grand Connection, right? Ultimate Connection. Yeah, Ultimate Connection, dude. That card's insane, dude. Have you ever used I'll Drag You Down into the Depths? No, but I have used Forbidden Trident. I have used that. Predictions for upcoming ban lists. Ice Wall better be out of here, and Mega Digimon Fusion better at least get a errata. Those are my thoughts. Or predictions, I guess. Yeah, that looks good. I was formatting the tier list really quickly to make it look nice for you guys. I'll show it to you guys in a second. Okay. Oh, you can see it now. Here's the tier list, but we'll talk about it in a minute. You'll see it later. Whoops. What would you call a good beginner control deck to practice with? My friend wants to play any starter deck. Any starter deck, doesn't matter which one it is. If you can find it, that's the best one to practice with, because all that matters is learning the flow of the game, and all those do a really good job of showing you like the basic 1-2 step feel of how a game progresses. Okie dokie. I think we're good to go. I think I'm gonna go refill my water and use the restroom, and then we'll get started with the tier list. So if you guys have any last minute questions while I'm away, type them in the chat and I'll get them when I come back. But until then, I'll be right back. I have returned, and so is my face. and so has my face. Okie dokie, artichoke. Whenever I put on moisturizer, it always makes me look so sweaty in streams. Okay. Let's see, what do we... Oh my gosh. Do you think EX Rusty Tyrannomon Sup is enough to push it? No. Definitely shouldn't start with Lilith Loop XD. Can you put a clown emoji on the Eosmon deck? I did something even funnier. A good way to start learning control is memory choking, and any deck can do that. I guess it's like a natural form of control because you're restricting resources, but I just feel like it's optimal play in those situations when you're able to do it. Even though Deep Brigade won't get any actual support in the near future, I still feel it might be relevant due to Analog Boy and Pride Memory Boost. Dude, Analog Boy makes a lot of decks relevant. Analog Boy is a scary card. If you guys have not already, read Analog Boy. It's a scary card. Okay. We're gonna do this, guys. The recording has started. Should be fun. Let's get this tier list going. Let's make sure we... Did I make it look nice? Looks nice to me. Let me do this really quick. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Haven't done one of these in a while. All right. Don't mind me. I'm just getting in the zone. All right, y'all, welcome back. My name is Steven Rodriguez. I'm your true champion, and I'm currently live here on YouTube. I know you're watching this on YouTube, and it's not live, but it's live when I'm doing this, so that's really funny. I go live and do stuff like this all the time, both on YouTube and over on Twitch. Follow me here and there if you want to see stuff like this in the future. But, as we all know, this is the first stream of 2022, and as we also know, Tier Maker is still a thing. And as we also know, the Digimon TCG is still a thing, thank goodness. So, we're gonna use all the tools available to us to talk about the current metagame of the Digimon TCG, and that is currently in the English side of things, BT6 with Starter Deck 7 and Starter Deck 8. There's no EX01 cards factored in here at all. There will be eventually though, so stay tuned. The things that I want to talk about today are not just the popular decks, but a lot of the cool and innovative things that people are doing to adapt to the meta as it evolves. Because if BT6 it's one thing, it's adaptive. People are trying all kinds of crazy and different things to combat what is being played the most in events. And I love that. And more importantly, I like talking about it. So there'll be a lot of fun decks in here that are actually really good. There'll be a lot of sus decks that no one should be playing, but people are. And there are, of course, the best decks that we will inevitably talk about and why they are so good. So if you are like me and enjoy ranting about all your favorite decks, be sure to stick around. Links are down below to my streams, and the button is down there to like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff. But regardless, let's go ahead and hop into the tier list and judge some decks. Guys, real talk, that felt terrible. I'm gonna do my own later after this is over, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. For some reason, this is low. Yo, Foo, thank you for the $5 super chat, my man. I appreciate that. Let me just make sure that looks good. Oh, what did it say? Oh, I'll put this over here. What's the god tier deck and why is it Big Brain 2000 IQ Eosmon? Lol, you're welcome, Steven. Welcome back. I appreciate that, Foo. Thank you. You are not gonna like what I have to say about Eosmon, though. No take two. Should we do a take two, chat? Yeah, this is my show. I'll do a take two. This is take two. Give me a break. It's been a year. The last time I streamed was in 2021. It's funny because it's true. How do I normally? Hang on. I almost watched myself to see what I normally say. I know what I say, chat. I know what I say when I do these. Okay. 3, 2, 1. This is what happens every time I record a video, by the way, guys. Is me just judging myself for 20 minutes and then finally figuring out what to say in an intro. I almost put in a terrible joke the last time I did one. It was a truly awful one. I'm glad I cut it, but it was kind of funny in like a cringy way. Can you guys see the thing I did for Eosmon? Hold on. Can you guys see this? He has a trash can for a head. That's for you guys. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Steven Rodriguez. I'm your true champion, and we are live here on YouTube. I know it seems like a YouTube video to you, but really, it's a live stream. And not only do I go live on YouTube sometimes, I also go live on Twitch sometimes. Link down below to that. And if you're interested in seeing any live streams or videos from me in the future, be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell for notifications so you don't miss out. Now, today we're doing something really special because last time I checked, Tier Maker is still a thing, even though we're in 2022. And on top of that, the Digimon TCG is still a thing. So, using all of our mental IQ points and the tools available to us, we are going to make a tier list of all of the best and most played decks in the Digimon TCG as of right now in the current English format. That means BT6 and Starter Deck 7 and 8. No EX01 cards will be talked about today, even though there are a lot of really cool ones that may or may not impact the meta in the future. If they do, I'll be sure to let you know. Now, a really cool thing about the BT6 format that hopefully I'll be able to convey to you today during this tier list is how awesome it is. Not because the decks that are doing really well are really cool, but also because the way people are choosing to innovate and combat the ever-growing and challenging metagame is impressive. There's tons of really fun and interesting decks that are actually really good. But on the flip side, like anything, for anything equally as good, there's a lot of equally bad. There's a lot of trash decks to talk about that no one should be playing, but people still do, and I'll be sure to tear them a new one like I always do. With that said, if you guys have any thoughts for yourselves or want to do this tier list for yourself and let me know your responses on Twitter or wherever else, I'll leave a link down below to the template so you can check it out if you want to. But with that being said, let's hop over to the tier list and rip apart all these decks. That felt better, didn't it, guys? Guys? Let me know if that felt good. If not, I will redo it when the stream is over by myself. But that felt good to me. I don't know about you. I don't know about you. All right, here we are, the tier list. It's very beautiful. I went with circles this time instead of squares. I figured it'd look really nice. Now, I want to just quickly go over the tiers and what they mean. Pretty self-explanatory. We have tier 1. Those are the best decks, the most played decks. The two main factors I look at when it comes to judging if a deck should be considered tier 1 is how popular it is, meaning how often is it going to be played, or how powerful it is. Basically, what is it capable of doing, and is that what it's capable of doing good in the current format? The second tier is tier 1.5 or fringe decks. These decks are fringe. They're basically tier 1, but because of some factor like a bad matchup or popularity, or it's not quite as powerful as it should be, it's not quite tier 1. But if you know the deck well and get lucky enough with your matchups, you can take down entire events, no problem. And then we have tier 2. Now, in past lists, I've had what's known as a tier 3, which are usually reserved for the worst decks, the ones you shouldn't really touch with a 10-foot pole. But I've decided to eliminate that tier because the Digimon TCG is weird in that it's an expanded format, so like nothing goes out of rotation as of right now. So there'd be way too much to include in that tier 3 for me to like warrant having it. So instead, I've decided to make that the tier 2 category, where I'll be talking about the decks that people actually play, but they probably shouldn't because there's not enough support for it, or it's just not competing well enough against what you're probably going to play against in average tournaments. Now, while these decks may be fun, they may be interesting, they are definitely not ones that you should consider if you want to do the best possible in a certain event. No. Now, while these decks may be really fun or really interesting to you, they might not be the best if you want to perform your best in a given event. So try to stay away from them unless you really like the archetype. I feel like my mouth is so dry. Hang on. I'm gonna do this one more time. Guys, who misses this, man? Who misses Infinite Take Steven? Who misses this, chat? Comment down below how many takes you think it's gonna take for this entire take. How many times can I say the word take? Moving away from fringe, we are going to tier 2. Now, normally in tier lists of yesteryear, I've had what's known as a tier 3 format on top of tier 2, but I've decided to include a rogue format instead, and I'll talk about what that is in a second. But the tier 2 tier is very self-explanatory. Basically, these decks are decks that people play that they probably shouldn't. While their strategies may be fun, they may be interesting, they're just not good enough to compete with the tier 1.5 and tier 1 decks of the world. And while they do exist and they have been supported, they just don't cut it as of right now. But that being said, who knows if some future support could bring them up. But with that being said, some future support could be enough to bring them out of the woodwork and make them really competitive. Some decks like D-Brigade, for example, way back in BT4 spring to mind. You know, that deck was a laughable meme at the time, but nowadays it's considered a very viable strategy that people are adapting each and every day. And finally, we have the new category, or the new tier that I've included, the rogue category. Now, these decks are neither good nor bad, but given the right matchup, they can dominate events and dominate matchups. And that's why I've dedicated this entire tier to rogue. Because what's interesting is people consider tier 2 decks rogue decks, and I think that's not true. I think considering bad decks good because they can sometimes win is incorrect. But decks that people don't think about, decks that still exist and can still perform, that are getting surprising results, that's what the rogue category is for. And it's a very personal judgment, and it's going to be where I have like the most flexibility to kind of make decisions. And by the end of this tier list, it might look different than what I intended it to be based on the conversations I'm going to have with you guys in the chat. So this one's going to be really fun to talk about, and I'm glad I included it today. Let's see what ends up in there. I feel like That's not how you spell rogue. That's totally how you spell rogue. Get out of here. Guys, is this how you spell rogue? Guys, did I spell rogue wrong? Hold on, I need to know this. Spell check. R-O, I put a U. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm dumb. R-O-G-U-E. Oh my God. Oh my God, chat. I'm dumb. Okay, we're gonna redo the entire... we're gonna redo the entire thing. I'm gonna re-explain everything. Oh man. No, I can just go from... No, I can't because they'll know. They'll know. Chat, don't you dare... Chat, I know I'm gonna retake this, but don't you dare let anyone know that I spelled rogue wrong the first time, okay? I made this at like 1 a.m. last night. Cut me some slack. Damn it, I don't remember how I started this. I remember really liking what I said. Okay, whatever. I remember really liking what I said. You know what? No, we're gonna leave it. Let's see who notices. But I will redo the tier 2 just so we can, when I talk about Rogue, it'll make more sense. So we're gonna do this one again. No one spill the beans. No one will notice that I retyped Rogue. No one will notice because I haven't mentioned it yet. Moving away from my garage door is opening and it's very loud, so I gotta give it a second. Then Mastamon gonna be on the list. So I'm gonna include that with this because whenever you see Mastamon, it's always in conjunction with this. I've never seen Mastamon by herself. Again, guys, I'll mention it again during tier 2. I was very picky with what I included in this list because if I included like every possible archetype, this list would be like 40 decks, which is stupid and not representative of what people are actually playing. And that's what this list is to do. It's like, here's what people are actually playing or considering to be played and why I want to talk about it. And I've already built the list too, so like I already know most of my opinions, but we're gonna talk about them after I make them every single time, and we'll see if we need to change anything together. But anyway, let me. Okay. Moving away from tier 1.5, we have tier 2. Now, normally in tier lists of yesteryear, I've had both tier 2 and tier 3, but in this list, I've decided to change tier 2 and tier 3 to tier 2 and Rogue. And the reason is because I feel like tier 3 is no longer a useful tier in Digimon because there are just so many decks now that most of them are never played, and it's just like I'm just gonna be throwing things like Rust Tyrannomon, old school Hercules Kabuterimon into tier 3 and no one's gonna care. But tier 2 decks are decks that people are still playing that they probably shouldn't, whether that's because the support just isn't there yet, or the matchups are terrible in the current metagame, or they're just bad decks and no one wants to admit it. But Rogue decks are a different story. So they're not tier 3, they're not tier 1, they're not tier 1.5. These decks I would like to call the surprise decks. The decks that people just don't really consider, even though new support is there for them, or they've just gotten naturally better as time went on. A good example of a deck that could have been considered Rogue back in the day was D-Brigade. You know, in set 4, it was literally a laugh out loud, why are you playing that deck meme. But nowadays, it's respected, it's good, it's adapting as new cards come out, and it's pretty good given the current metagame. So that's what Rogue is going to be. It's a very personal category. I'm going to be making a lot of judgments on decks for what I think they are, but your Rogue list might look different from mine. So be sure to let me know, again, guys, what your list of set 6 looks like. Down below is the template. Give it a shot for yourself. But that being said, first deck we're going to talk about is Three Musketeers, the Queen Bielstramon herself. And honestly, we're starting off pretty strong. A lot of you know that at the beginning of set 6, for a long time, I was not, and I mean not, a big fan of Three Musketeers. But a lot of people disagree with me. This deck is definitely one of the most popular, even though another deck that's very similar to it I think is better. This deck is more popular. You know, when it comes to like a slower, or should I say like a more set up, advantage oriented archetype, Three Musketeers is like the most preferred. And when it comes to purple decks, Three Musketeers is the most preferred, and it's also really good. Like Bielstramon over and over and over again, on top of like Omnimon Zwarts and multiple Nailbones, can get very scary in the late game. And that's why, to me, Bielstramon is a very easy tier 1. No question, deck's insane. It's got a Bay as its boss monster. What more can you ask for? Any objections, chat? Anyone believe this deck doesn't belong in tier 1? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Ooh. My new chair is so uncomfortable to sit in. I need to figure out a way to sit in this thing properly. We're all in agreement that Baelstormon is an obvious tier 1 choice. Good. Good. It'll become more fleshed out and understandable once we go through the entire thing, but trust me, Three Musketeers is pretty good. I personally don't play it, but I could change my mind if I like thought it was the best deck for a given tournament. Don't pilot it well? That's not a reason though that it shouldn't be tier 1, right? Because we're talking about decks. We're not talking about how people play with the deck, right? Like popularity is a factor, not because of performance, but because of like how many exist in a given tournament, if that makes sense. All right, cool. Moving up next, we actually have our first entry into the Rogue category, in my opinion, and that is Craniamon Black Blockers. Originally, for the black color, people were just so excited to finally have good cards in black, like Genkumon and Iron Fist Onslaught or Alphamon. They're like, hey, let's just build a toolbox deck that uses all these good cards. But, as you guys recently saw from my most recent deck profile, I'm a huge fan of Craniamon Black, and that's because the format has like been diverged into two sections. You have like all the really defensive slash controlling decks like Three Musketeers, and you have all the OTK slash aggro focused decks. And having a sticky black blocker deck that can like naturally play around those things is, I think, really cool and a surprise for a lot of people that aren't prepared for it. So I think Rogue is an awesome fit for Craniamon, no questions asked. Ooh, speaking of decks that I know people love, we have Bond of Bravery. Should be Bond of Courage, but whatever. Bond of Bravery. And to me, this is tier 1.5, no question. It may seem like an easy tier 1 because it's good against other Bond decks. It's good against Jessamon decks. Heck, it is the best Bond deck naturally for playing against Security Control. So why on earth, Steven, is it tier 1.5? Well, random citizen, the honest truth is, for me to put this at tier 1, I would need to say that in order for you to do well at a tournament, you need to be able to beat Bond of Courage. And that's just not true. Like, every person you talk about, when they talk about like, what decks are you worried about in set 6, no one says Bond of Courage. They go, how am I gonna beat Bond of Courage? Oh my god, it's so oppressive, it's so stupid, it's so scary. No, like literally, no one plays Bond of Bravery, even though we know it's strong. It's weird. Like, we all know it's a good deck, but no one plays it, and I don't know why. I do think it's good against Security Control. I don't think it's that good against Three Musketeers, and I don't think it's that good against Bond of Friendship. It's really just the 50-50 at the end of the day. So, you know, it is good on paper, but people aren't willing to put it into practice. So I think tier 1.5 is a fair category, especially given what the meta is currently looking like. Oh, okay, right. This will be funny. I was like thinking about what I was gonna say for the next deck. Sorry, guys. So yeah, that's what that's what I think of those two decks right now. Now, backtracking a little bit to what I said earlier, like people thought that Darkdramon or D-Brigade was like a meme deck, right? Well, D-Brigade's kind of like changed its tune. It's become actually a very consistent deck. It's really good at keeping dudes on board and like keeping up aggression. And I find that while it may not be like super obvious to you how to build a D-Brigade deck, or it might not be the most consistent thing in the world, ever since we got the starter deck 7 and starter deck 8, it's had a ton of tools to it that I think at least gives it a rogue category. You have that aggression that lets you beat up Jessamon / Bond of Friendship decks that are too slow to set up. You have the ability to constantly get dudes swarming on board / recur cards in your deck against security control, that I feel like it has a lot of good matchups, and it just has a lot of really interesting ways to pressure people out of nowhere, especially if you're not ready for it. So it seems like a pretty easy rogue inclusion to me. All right, so far we've been super positive, guys. Set 6 is awesome. There's a couple of things that people don't get, but it is time for me to enter my soapbox. Eosmon is trash. Anyone that plays Eosmon, whether it's yellow, green, blue, black, I don't care what it is, what are you doing? This is a garbage deck that I don't even want to look at anymore, and I will give it its own category because it's not good enough for tier 2. It is just not. This is the trash tier, where the trash belongs, and it goes right to the bottom. I don't like Eosmon. I will never like Eosmon. Enough said. But seriously though, to anyone out there that is an Eosmon player, good for you. Play that deck. Prove me wrong. Win all the locals in the world. But I will never play this deck. And I will never, never give it the respect people want me to. I hate this deck. Anyone that likes it, you're awesome. But this deck, trash. Hate it so much. Trash in the chat, yes. Who was ready for the Steven Rage on that one? Who was ready? I literally, guys, I cannot tell you how many times I got sent, whether it was a tweet, whether it was a YouTube link, an Eosmon deck. I cannot tell you how many times that happened to me. It's happened so much. It's happened so much. But BTO8 Eosmon, this is not BTO8 Eosmon. Steven watches it get second place. Again, the deck can do well. Doesn't mean it's not trash. Trash decks can win all the time. Doesn't mean they're not trash. Why are you being a hater, bro? Oh my god. In before Steven is the reason in Eosmon decks. Dude, if Eosmon won just to spite me, that'd be awesome. What do you think, guys? Too mean? Fine. I was too mean. I was too mean. All right. Eosmon. Okay, so everyone knows that Eosmon is not one of my favorite decks. In fact, I put a trash bag on the Eosmon face here to prove that I don't like this deck. But in reality, it is really cool. It's cute. The gimmick of how you can build the deck and how you can swarm level 5s is pretty cool. It does get some neat support in the future, but I don't see it being anything better than tier 2 at best. And that's if people like really commit to making it work. I think there's too many variants on like whether or not you should play green, yellow, or even like black versions of the deck that I think all are not that great than just like a pure version of Eosmon. And even if I were to like give it the time of day and test it myself, I don't even think I could come up with a good way to like make this useful in the current format. In the future that could change, but right now it is a blessing that it gets tier 2. All right, so now we got 2 takes. We got the tier 2 take and we got the trash take. Which should we use, chat? Let me know, because I need to change the tier list back if I need to make it the trash one. It's so fun to play versus Eosmon. Yo, that BT1 Omni tech, bro. And they perform quite decent. Trash. Oh my gosh. I love how angry you got. That was for camera, chat. I wasn't actually angry. But people do actually send me, like, anytime anyone does anything good with Eosmon, I do get messaged. Because I made it abundantly clear that I could not tell you what the level 6 Eosmon does. And frankly, I don't care. I don't care what it does. Don't you dare type it in the chat what it does. I don't care. I don't want to know what it does. Doesn't matter to me what it does. Relabel the tier. You know what? I'll do a different trash take where we're gonna put it in trash, but I'll be a little bit nicer because I don't want to like ruin Eosmon players' dreams. Okay. Okay. This is the real one, chat, and it's gonna be trash. It's gonna be trash because tier 2 isn't trash. Tier 2 like has some redemption, but trash is its own special category. Okay. I got something. All right, Eosmon. This very special deck, special to me, special to you, special to everyone that's ever been blessed by the power that is Eosmon decks. You would know if you're a fan of anything I've done in the past that I'm not a fan of this deck, and I'm still not. Whether it's yellow, green, black, blue, doesn't matter. I don't think there's that much this deck can do as of right now, and as you can tell by the image I'm using here, I'm gonna come up with a very special tier just for Eosmon. Let me go ahead and make this right there. There, that's the tier that Eosmon will stay in. No need for further questions. I'm the worst. Okay, sorry. I'm just milking this joke way too much now, chat. It's not even really a joke. I'm just kind of like being mean now, but you know what? It's cool. Dude, should I make play Eosmon like a sub goal or something? Dude, what would that, like Rookie Rush? That was different though. Like, I hated Rookie Rush because of the public opinion of Rookie Rush. I didn't mind the deck. Like, I knew the deck was good. I just didn't think it was like as bad as people said it was. And like, I hated that like people complain about it. Eosmon is a deck that I straight up do not understand why it exists. Like, it's a cute gimmick, but people are like, I felt the same way about the DBS deck, Meta Cooler for Dragon Ball Super. It's the same exact gimmick. You can play 50 Meta Coolers in your deck, right? Dude, those gimmicks are so stupid. And the benefit you get out of doing it is playing a garbage card. Like, what? 20k feels like Eosmon for a month? Not even, bro. Not even. That's like capital punishment. Let's make him play a chat. Not even. All right, moving on. Now that we've got the trash deck out of the way, let's talk about a deck that I'm in love with. Arguably my favorite deck in the BT6 format, and that is Gabumon Bond of Friendship. Unlike Bond of Bravery or Bond of Courage, this is an easy tier 1. Easy tier 1. Like, early, like, first 3 weeks dominance alone still gives it tier 1 because of how popular it is after the fact. But all the newer pure versions that are coming out, like the ones that include Cordramon, the ones that include Red Tie, Kamiya, Delicate Plan, and Lightning Joust to combat security control decks, they are all amazing strategies and showcases how adaptive this kind of deck can be and how consistent it still is. So I'm a huge fan of pure Rookie Rush kind of Bond of Friendship. Now, unlike pure Bond of Friendship, Ancient Garurumon Bond of Friendship is tier 2. And that's because it sucks. It's literally, guys, literally, if you're a fan of Ancient Garurumon Bond of Friendship, I respect you, I love you, but let me tell you something right now, it is just a worse version of Bond of Friendship. That potential extra attack you get is all well and good, but you still lose to all the same things that Bond of Friendship does, but you make it less likely for you to actually get off a Bond of Friendship turn, which is way stronger in every sense of the word than just a regular Ancient Garurumon turn. So, it's tier 2 because it just makes a good deck worse, and that makes no sense to me. So, please, if you're playing Ancient Garuru Bond of Friendship, just take out those useless Lobos and those useless Ancient Garus and play some Red Tamers and some Lightning Jousts. You will not regret it. Honestly, it's lucky to get a tier 2. Up next, we have some interesting stuff. Up next, we have some interesting things to talk about, and that's the 2 green decks. The first one is the obvious one. It's Green Control or Ancient Troymon, like Nidhoggmon stuff, and that's tier 2. It's the only real, like, set 6 deck that came out of... No, it's... Hold on. I don't know what I said. That's weird. I didn't know you guys could stack them like this. Do you guys see this? That's weird. You guys see that? That looked weird, didn't it? After that, we have two more decks that I want to talk about. Green OTK and Green Control. Now, Green Control is like Ancient Troymon, Nidhoggmon type stuff, and it's the actual support that Green got from the 6 set in like a pure sense. The other one was, you know, garbage. And while this deck is really cool, it has a nice natural counter to like the really aggro rookie rush decks like D Brigade or Bond of Friendship or Bond of Bravery. I just don't think it has a very viable win condition that lets it get the most consistent wins, and people just don't really play it. So I'm gonna give it like a tier 2 sort of placement for the overall meta. But Green OTK, on the other hand, is actually really interesting, and Tyler Sir from Gaia Force Gaming actually piloted Green OTK to a Set 6 regional and did really well. And I think it's because the deck kind of like naturally matches up with the other decks of the format, and you have a natural way to combat the really aggro decks that might be a bit more aggressive than you, in the form of being able to play Ancient Troymon and Nidhoggmon. So you're like an aggro deck or an OTK deck, but you have way more removal options that are naturally aggressive as well. So I actually think it's a really cool rogue deck. I don't think it's the best against Security Control. That matchup seems like a coin flip. But if you know that matchup really well, it might be better for you, and they might not have tested against your deck, so you can probably like catch them by surprise. So I do like it. I think it belongs in the rogue category moving forward. Guys, what would you do if I just put Jessamon in the trash tier? What would you guys do? Would you leave? Like who's a Jessamon stan? Like, Jessamon's the best deck ever. How dare you? How dare you ever say he belongs in trash? Tell you that you are crazy. Some days it belongs there. When you don't open your saviors, it does, doesn't it? You'd cry. Jessamon is dope. Jessamon is dope. Applaud. Is not my friend and I'm a red player. Yeeks. Okay. Now that we've gotten some riff-raff out of the way, now that we've gotten in the vibe of judging some decks, let's talk about a deck that everyone loves to hate right now, and that is Jessamon. Honestly, guys, this deck is tier 1, obviously, because everyone plays it, and it has some of the most guaranteed wins I've ever seen when it comes to like an OTK type deck. Like, if you get that god tier combo of Tai Kamiya, Greymon, Delicate Plan, there's the handshake. Good match. I'll see you later. I don't care what you're playing against. It's over. But what's really funny and I like about Jessamon is it's so good and people hate playing against it so much that it's actually given evolution or rise to more innovative deck building, because people don't want to play Jessamon and they don't want to play the stuff that naturally beats Jessamon, so they're gonna like run all this crazy weird stuff that can beat it instead. Like, for example, playing Sakuyamon in any yellow deck, which I'll talk about in a second and why that's really cool. So while Jessamon is the current deck to beat in set 6, people are doing a good job of figuring out how to beat it. So I'm wondering how long it'll stay the king of the hill moving forward. That's my whole thing, by the way. Up next, these two decks are kind of the same, but I'll talk about them separately, and that is Lilithmon Loop, and then the other one is Titamon Loop. And in my opinion, Titamon is only slightly better and more consistent at being aggressive and getting W's than Lilith, but both of them have gotten a lot out of BT6 and are still very relevant. I would actually say that Lilithmon's probably the top of tier 2, And the only reason why is because people are just preferring to play things like Titamon and Three Musketeers. So like whenever you see a Lilithmon deck, there's only like 1 or 2 of it max at any given event. But it might still do well if you know what you're doing with Lilithmon. And then Titamon, we all know how stupid the Ginkumon promote stuff can be with this type of deck. It can lead to really powerful Zwart loop combos, or it can be powerful all by itself and attacking for plus security and getting you lots of board. It definitely feels like a very advantage-oriented purple deck that also has a ton of burst potential when needed, and that kind of deck is really appealing, especially when you're like a by the books, like I just want to figure out how to beat people through technical play type player. Feels bad when Jessamon hits Shakurimon in security. Yes, sir. That's like, again, one of those like innovative deck building options. Well, I can't use security option cards to beat them. Let's use security Digimon. Kind of a thing. Moving away from the purple decks, I actually wanted to like dedicate this entire section talking about all the yellow decks that exist in set 6, because at the end of set 5, everyone and their mom was tired of playing against yellow, and so we all naturally thought that once we got these new powerhouses in Bond of Bravery, Jessamon, Bond of Friendship, Three Musketeers, that we'd never see yellow again. But I'm very pleased to tell you that we are still seeing a ton of yellow representation in tournaments, because again, BT6, the message isn't, hey, broken decks get even more broken. It's, hey, broken decks can be beaten by the strangest of things. And decks that we thought were the king a second ago can still be really good, even though they've been power crept out of the format. A great example is very recently, Dan Vang won first place undefeated at a European Regional with Lord Nightmon. And tons of people are finding new ways to utilize all the powerful security effect cards from set 6 in their Yellow War Greymon / Mastamon decks. In fact, I built one earlier today. And moreover, and much to my happiness, set 6 gave us a new yellow tamer. And whenever you see a new yellow tamer, people find a way to bring back Shine Greymon. So let's talk about all 3 of these. In my opinion, yellow is still the best color if your goal is to grind advantage with your opponent, because not only do you have the ability to multi-attack or gain board, you have the ability to control your opponent's board at the exact same time. You have ways to get guaranteed extra damage like Mastamon or Bushiagumon, and you have ways to play around anything your opponent can do by just having access to a crazy diverse and powerful card pool. And when it comes to like judging how strong or how weak these decks are, in terms of popularity, I think War Greymon / Mastay variants are the most popular. Lord Nightmon is creeping up ever since Dan did really well with the deck and people realize just how good it is. A lot of people tend to think that Lord Nightmon is just worse Jessamon, but that's not the case. Jessamon's an OTK deck. Lord Nightmon is an advantage / tempo deck. They play very differently, and the real big difference, in my opinion, is Lord Nightmon wants to attack to gain advantage, while Jessamon wants to attack to win the game. It's a very, very fine, like minute difference, but it makes a world of difference when you actually play with these 2 decks in a match. And then there's Shine Greymon, and because of Shine Greymon's blisterly awful security control matchup, I can't give it anything higher than tier 2, but it is much better than it was like 2 or 3 formats ago, and I do like where it could be going in the near future with set 7. So while it may not be super crazy right now, it did get better, and it is really neat against things like Jessamon. Also, if you haven't guessed already, almost all of these decks do include some kind of card like Sakuyamon or Dynasmon that can let them naturally play around the OTK decks of the world, because normally really late game aggressive focused decks are yellow's bane of existence. Whatever, we did a go. So yeah, that's yellow. I think the real big plus for yellow is people... Dang it. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the yellow decks of the set 6 format. I think their biggest plus is how diverse their card pool is, from defensive cards like Sakuyamon and Recovery to aggressive cards like Bushiagumon and Mastamon. I'm sitting on my foot and it's like falling asleep. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Oh, okay. Much better. What was I? Oh, yeah, right. Anything else you want to talk about before I move on to the next one? Let's see. Nah. I know better than to take that challenge. If I take that challenge, I'm definitely gonna lose, guys. You all think I'm the anime. You all think I'm the anime protagonist. No. I'm the antagonist. I'll lose. I don't see Gallimon on the list. Yeah, I wonder why. I explained this earlier, but like this list wasn't like every single archetype that exists type tier list. It was more of a nitpicky tier list of like what I think the most well represented decks are, or the ones that I think have the most potential. When I think of a pure Blitz deck, hey, Gallimon Crimson Mode is your best friend. Now that I've gotten off my soapbox of how amazing yellow is and all the cards within all the decks people are playing, now that I've left my soapbox of how amazing yellow is, let's talk about another deck that I love, which is Black Royal Knights. Probably the most popular black deck as of right now. And as I said earlier, it was born out of the fact that black has gotten the best support cards ever in BT6. Generically speaking, Genkumon, Alphamon, Iron Fist Onslaught, and the list goes on. There's just so many good cards in black now that building a toolbox deck like this is a no-brainer. It's very adaptive. It feels like the 50-50 deck of the format, and when you put a deck like that in the hands of a really good player, you're gonna see some success. And so I think it's only proper to give it a tier 1.5 placing. It's not the best deck, but you can definitely win with it no matter what you play against. And I think that's a really awesome thing, especially given how questionable meta games can be sometimes as to what you should or should not play. And as always, before I talk about the most toxic deck of Digimon, let's talk about a really cool deck, and that is Ulforce Veedramon. Now, if you guys don't know, this Ulforce is the one that is the DC1 Grand Prix promo, and it's referring to the set 1.5 Ulforce Veedramon. And the reason why I bring that up is because, to me, Ulforce Veedramon 1.5 is the deck that got the most support from Starter Deck 7, or sorry, Starter Deck 8 being printed. There's a ton of awesome Arrow Veedramon, Vmon cards that just make the whole archetype faster and more consistent. And it really does feel like a blue Jessamon deck, a setup OTK deck in blue. And the reason why I didn't include things like Imperial Dramon or Hexablaumon is I don't think they fit in what the meta is trying to look like right now, where Ulforce Veedramon kind of does. Also, low-key, I saw a couple deck lists circling around the Facebook page, and I got really inspired, and I think it's a really cool deck, and I want to talk about it and put it in the rogue category, because it is pretty cool. So if you're a fan of Ulforce, give it a try. It might just be really good. How do I feel about the starter deck War Growl and Jessamon? That's the one that gains security attack, right? When like something dies. How do you proc that effect? Does it work with piercing? So like when you pierce something, do you gain the security like while you're dealing the damage, or does that not work? Will I be sharing any of these lists for Ulforce? They're not mine. I just saw them on Facebook, and I think the main Digimon Discord server. Ah, Bao Huckmon. Yeah. Not needed, TBH. You're better off just using Voltramon. Yeah, that's what I use is Voltramon, or I use Rise Greymon if I'm like really thirsty for Tai Kamiya, but not really. I'd like Voltramon better. And I also play the BT1 War Greymon still, and Voltramon combo is way better with that. Okay, anywho. Last deck to talk about. And if you don't know what this is my take on the security symbol from Digimon cards, and it's basically representative of security effects. and that means it's security control. Now there are variants of security control. There's the classic yellow base that has all the crazy recovery / removal cards that we now have access to in set 6. There is, I think I've seen like a 3 Musketeer security control deck that plays like a BL Starmon engine on top of all that. And there's even funny things like Craniumon Blocker security control that plays like sticky stuff, and of course all the security effects. But the thing all these decks have in common is they're annoying, and they have tons of ways to counter everything. This is a deck that focuses not necessarily on winning, but on not losing, and thus winning, because if you're not losing, well, then you're winning. So, yeah, just by sheer power alone, sheer learning curve, sheer how frustrating it is for the average player, who cares what deck you're playing, average player, to play against a strategy like this, it is always tier 1 until it's not. Hopefully, this deck and how you can naturally play against it will become more mainstream as time goes on. And in fact, I think that's happening more and more every single day. We're seeing people prefer things like Jessamon and Bond of Friendship with Delicate Plans and 3 Musketeers versus this. But this deck, if it shows up, you're terrified. If it shows up, you gotta work 10 times as hard. And no matter what you do, they could have the counter to it. Their Sakuyamons, their Magnadramons, their infinite removal spells, they will have the counter for it. And unless you play a pure like anti-security control deck like Black Blockers or things that constantly recur themselves like D-Brigade, it's not a fun time. In fact, I would dare to say that this is the current, like in my opinion, like deck to beat, in the sense that if you don't have a strategy for this deck, you're in trouble. Where Jessamon you can beat just because Jessamon's like a normal deck, but this is not a normal deck. You need to know what you're doing, and a deck that demands the player base to become more skilled in order to beat it, I think is definitely deserving of a tier 1 spot, in my opinion, especially given how many people actually do play it. So yeah, guys, there you go. That's the tier list. Before I actually end off the video, anything wrong you see here or anything you want to debate with me about where stuff should actually go? By the way, for anyone wondering, this Bond of Friendship here represents all pure versions of Bond of Friendship. So that includes things like the red variant that plays like Lightning Joust and Delicate Plan, or just the pure Rookie Rush / Cordramon variant. This version represents like the hybrid ones. No Shoutmon. I forgot to include Shoutmon. I should have included Shoutmon because Shoutmon is actually deserving of the rogue tier. That's on me though. I just didn't include it. I mentioned that earlier though. Do you think Rookie Rush does not deserve a spot on here? Honestly, I think D-Brigade's just better. Like if you're gonna play a Rookie Rush type strat, I'd rather play D-Brigade personally. But to say Rookie Rush deserves a spot, sure. But again, it would fall in the rogue category, and I didn't want to overload the rogue category with this first tier list because I wanted to be like very particular as to what decks I talked about. But I should have included Rookie Rush though. That's on me again. Shoutmon DX, yeah, that's the only Shoutmon that I know of. Lilith should be higher, performs well, and according to stats is also very well. So the reason why I put it at tier 2 was you have to think of it this way, like the way I think about it in terms of popularity is I always think color. Like it's really hard for me to like separate archetypes from color a lot of the time, and I feel like one of Purple's biggest weaknesses is there's too many decks that feel as good as each other. Like because Titamon and 3 Musketeers are also good, if not better than Lilith, that means Lilith has to be worse than them because the share isn't even. Like I would argue like take the number 10, right? 3 Musketeers is 5. What's it called? Titamon is 3 and Lilithmon's 2. How good that 2 does is really irrelevant when you realize that there's 5 3 Musketeers. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I have to naturally progress it that way because of the share they have for the metagame, and because I do view them as personally better decks, right? So, like, when you take into account that kind of stuff, like that's why. But I did say that it's the top of tier 2. Like, it's basically tier 1.5, but because it's, like, the least played of all of them, and they're already like a lesser played share of the overall pie, I have to put it at tier 2. Again, these are decks you should also it's way harder to play than Three Musketeers and Titamon. So like it's a deck you probably shouldn't play if you're a beginner, for example. Keep that in mind too. Who has the good Shoutmon deck list? Now I want to try it. I don't think I've seen a good Shoutmon deck list per se for set 6, but in theory, the Shoutmon strategy is really solid. You have removal and pressure at the same time. And you can do it out of nowhere, which is cool. Because of the whole blitz mechanic. What would you say is the worst color in this meta? White Eosmon. It's right here. Are you not looking at it? Do you not see this? All right, y'all, there you guys go. All right, guys, that wraps up my current BT6 meta tier list for the Digimon TCG. Those are all my thoughts and opinions on the currently played decks. There were some things that I left out, like Shoutmon or Rookie Rush, that I do think are useful and worth looking into and could be potential rogue candidates. But right now, these were the ones that immediately were in my memory when I was making this list. If you want to let me know your thoughts on this metagame, I'll leave a link down below to the tier maker template. Be sure to tweet me all your responses at @ChampionSteven_. I cannot wait to see your horrible takes. But with all that being said, I've been your true champion, Steven. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you to all my people during the live stream that may help me make this video, and to all of you for watching it. If you did enjoy and got any value from it, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell for notifications so you know when my videos go live for you. But with all that being said, I've been your true champion, Steven. Please be sure to work hard, rest easy, and live well. And I will see you all next time. Peace. Oh wait, I didn't, hold on. I wanted to do that full screen. Retake, take dose, and boom, there you guys go. That wraps up all of my current thoughts and opinions on the BT6 meta, wrapped up in a nice, cozy tier list. Here it is one more time for you guys in case you wanted to see it. If you have any differing opinions or want to show me your tier list for set 6, I'll leave a link down below to the tier maker template. Be sure to share me any thoughts and opinions you have over on Twitter at @ChampionSteven_. But with all that being said, hopefully y'all did enjoy. If you did, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell for notifications so you know when my videos go live for you. And be sure to follow me on Twitch as well so you can join us for live streams just like this one in the future. But with all that being said, I've been your true champion, Steven. Please be sure to work hard, rest easy, and live well. And I will see you all next time. Peace. Bam! Smash it! Smash that like button, chat. You know what to do. I'll show it to you guys one more time too, and I'll take a screenshot for myself that I can use in the edit later. Oh wait, that's right, I changed that. It's this one. Chat, how do you make a screenshot? It's not letting me make a screenshot. Oh, I know why. Give me 1 second. Ignore my very messy desktop, by the way. Out of a stream. I gotta get more fluid when it comes to live streams. I just stutter so much, and I get like really bad dry mouth during streams. It doesn't happen during videos. During videos, I never have dry mouth, but during streams, it does get kind of bad. Which is annoying. It's whatever. There we go. What are your thoughts on Azulongmon? Cool card. Really nice inclusion into Hexablaumon. There it is. You guys, did you guys see that screenshot? You guys saw it too, huh? Yeah. Looks nice, doesn't it? Okay. So now I can go over here. And I think that'll about do it. I'll still hang around for about 15 minutes or so if you guys want to talk to me about anything. But if you guys don't have anything to talk to me about, we had a pretty eventful first stream of 2022. First stream back from my vacation. Lots of super chats, lots of support from you guys, lots of me embarrassing myself with how stupid I am when it comes to recording. I should just do the intros and outros, not during the video, but it's just so fun to have you guys here and like actually give you some behind the scenes, you know? I love the new beard. Thank you. It was born out of laziness, but I'm gonna let it go for a while. I'm gonna let it go for a while. Thomas, I drink like 4 20-ounce waters every stream. Like I go to pee like every 2 hours, man. I'm well hydrated. It's like a mouth thing. I don't know. I used to always say that my tongue was always bigger than my mouth, and that's why I stuttered when I was a kid. But the truth is, I'm just like, I just stutter. That's just like a fact. That's really what it is. Thoughts on D-Reaper? It's nightmare fuel. D-Reaper is nightmare fuel. Does Lilith Loop seem okay in BT 7 to 8? I mean, in the sense that it gets better, yes. But in the sense that it's better than the other purple decks, oh, no, no, no. Lucamon Fall Down mode is pretty awesome. Also, like, purple-yellow hybrid decks, beautiful. You are the GOAT Digimon content creator. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, again, for all the support. I would not be doing this without all of you. I don't know when the next stream is gonna be, but stay tuned on Twitter and on Discord and maybe on the YouTube community page, and I'll let you know. But if you ever want to, the best way to be notified of my live streams on Twitch is to follow me there. Bam. And I think the next stream we're gonna do is on Twitch, and I think it's gonna be viewer battles of Digimon and maybe Yu-Gi-Oh, but mostly Digimon, probably. Ooh, Will, thank you. I might build O-Force. I might just, because I do really like the strat. What is that background? Oh, I'll show you guys. Check this out. Hold on. Let me show you a better look of it that isn't like disgusting. Hold on. This is actually really cool. I'm really proud of this background. Check this out. So I'll take away my camera for a second here. In the chat. So basically, and this. So basically, this is a thumbnail from a video I made over a year ago. I made this, I think, I made this video, I think, in July of 2020, like almost 2 years, almost 2 years ago now. And so basically, if you're a fan of Cardfight Vanguard, it was basically a theory video. And I talked about I basically said, what if other anime characters existed in the Cardfight Vanguard universe? So here we have Izuku Midoriya as Aichi Sendo. Here we have Yami Yugi as Aichi Sendo, but from, you know, high school. This is old boy, this is young boy. And here we have Goku, Son Goku as Toshiki Kai. And those are all characters from Cardfight Vanguard, but I didn't like say insert character here, right? This was like a representation of what they might look like if they lived in this universe. And I can show you guys the video, actually. It's pretty cool. And if you're a fan of Vanguard, or you're a fan of any of these animes and want to know what they were like in a card game anime, well, now you know. And it was nice to include Yami Yugi too, because like it was a good basis to be like, what would he be like if he existed in Vanguard? That video is slow, but I'm actually still really proud of that video. And fun fact for you, that video was the first ever video that I posted using this camera that you see me in right now. It was my first actual camera that I bought for YouTube videos, and I still use it today. I've gotten this camera has paid for itself many times over. I'll tell you that much. Here it is. It's so I made a Vanguard theory. It was a stupid title. I should have like kept it something else. I think I called it like, what if other characters existed in Cardfight Vanguard or something like that. And I did 5. I did Ash Ketchum, Yugi, Izuku, Son Goku, and Vegeta. And then I also did a secret one at the very end, who's personally one of my favorite anime characters of all time, from personally one of my favorite anime, and that very anime is an isekai, and I was doing an isekai story. Let's go, man. I was so big brain when I made this, dude. You guys should have seen me writing the script for this. I was on another level, dude. Like, I was coming up with some stupid shiz, but it was great. I'm gonna watch this really quick. I love this video. This is one of my favorite videos I've ever made. And it was just me standing in front of my camera ranting about animes that I liked for 35 minutes. The video itself was like over an hour. You're lucky I made it this much. Dude, look how bad my room used to look. I still have that Bakugo though. That Bakugo, he's right there. You see him? He's right there. I still got a lot of that stuff. I have 2 of these now though, instead of 1. I have better lights now. I did that like stand-up shot. Oh. I'm gonna share this because I do love this video, and you guys should watch it. Even if you're not a fan and you just want to see me embarrass myself for 36 minutes, this is a good video for you guys. But let's listen to this for a second, because I don't remember how good the audio was for this. I think the audio is a bit sketch because I was using a lavalier for the first time.
The Cardfight Vanguard anime is full of amazing characters who all have one thing in common: the need to card fight in order to respect.
I recently shaved and I like cut myself. You guys can see that.
Much like other animes,
the show must go on. This had to go up.
Specifically, the relationships they have with other characters and.
What's with my hair? Look at this. Look at that tall hair right there. Oh, I miss it. I go too short nowadays when I get my hair cut. I gotta go longer. I gotta be bold.
Discuss what it would be like if 5 other predominant anime characters existed in the Vanguard universe. I will discuss such topics as what deck/clan they might use if they existed in the Cardfight Vanguard universe, what role they might play.
Chat, should I do this for like Digimon? Like should I do a video where like I talk about what other characters from anime, like who their partner Digimon would be? That could be cool. Like if I just did that, I think it'd be way shorter and way cooler, and like I could just talk about it. That could be fun. I'm gonna write that down, guys. I'm writing it down. Anyone that knows me knows I love taking notes on possible video ideas, and they also know that that list is way too long. You know what? I should make a stream of me reading off all of my video ideas, so that way if anyone ever steals them, I can go back to it and be like, hey, I said this. I was gonna do this. What if other main characters from anime/cartoons had Digimon? Vanguard theory for reference. If it's a video that like I know of, I'll go back to it. But yeah, the first one was Ash Ketchum. What did I say? I don't even remember what I said for Ash Ketchum. If anyone knows Vanguard, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, like, just watch me watch this, because I just want to know what I said.
And just for fun, what unit I feel would best.
I'm talking too slow.
The planet Cray. For lack of a better word, who is their avatar?
I'm talking too slow. That's new for me. I normally talk too fast.
I'm not going to be just giving you guys objective reasoning or things that I think are correct or wrong. This is just going to be a pure discussion, a pure theory, a Vanguard theory.
That's a joke.
Whoever gets that in the comments is going to have a laugh. You ready? Let's get started. Alright, just in case that little intro at the beginning wasn't really clear, let me go ahead and sum it up.
Oh man. Am I red yet? Am I embarrassed? I am.
What it would be like if 5 other predominant or important anime characters from 5 different animes existed in the Cardfight Vanguard universe. I'm going to discuss basically what decks I think they use, what role.
I already said this. This is a thing I do. This is a thing I do all the time. And people, dude, if you see me doing this in a video, point that shit out, okay? This actually bothers me when I do this, and I never catch it, even in an edit. I repeat intros. I'll say one thing, and then 20 seconds later, say it again. Like, it's one thing if it was like a different section, like I mentioned it at the very beginning, but I'm gonna re-mention it in the middle so you guys can be clear as to the parameters of what we're doing. especially something a little more technical like this, but I literally just said what I'm saying now.
Within the anime as a whole, and just for fun, what is their avatar, or rather, who is their avatar that connects them to the planet Krei and gives them some level of importance other than just being a good card fighter or another character in the show. Now, I understand that a lot of other videos that I've done on this channel when it comes to analyzing the anime have been very mathematic, very scientific, very statistical, very hard to argue with. This kind of video, though...
Did you guys realize I used to be an anime reviewer? Who knew this?
If you're thinking about these kind of things,
Who's an OG? Who knows, chat? Who knows the real me?
My Hero Academia, but no one ever talks about Vanguard.
Yeah, guys, I'm proud of myself. During winter... During my break in the desert, I actually downloaded 3 anime series to watch because I knew that internet would be bad before we went there. Genius. And the 3 that I watched were ones that I've never seen before. The 3 were I got this one for me, my sister to watch because she loves romance anime. I got Nisekoi. I just watched it. Oh, I got Hellsing Ultimate, which I've seen original Hellsing, and I've seen Hellsing Ultimate abridged, but I've never seen the actual Hellsing Ultimate, and so that was a trip to watch for the first time, like in its entirety. And Black Clover. And I watched all of it, all 3 of those.
And they can always have new ones. I'm always interested.
I'm a sucker for anime.
Experiment. So I decided to put on my thinking cap and do a theory video for Vanguard. If you guys are excited, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell for notifications so that way you guys know when my videos go live for you. And who knows, this could be a brand new series of What If Vanguard here on the channel. So
I only made one. I wanted to make more, but I just never came up with a good idea.
If you guys have any fun ideas for a way to kind of continue the series, leave them down in the comments below. I would love to see them.
Jobless Reincarnation. That's that like grandfather isekai, right?
Master in training, Ash Ketchum. Okay, Ash Ketchum. Probably one of the most
well-known
anime characters of all time. He's a part of one of the longest running anime shows of all time. Pokemon, I think they're going on like their 22nd, 23rd year of existing as a TV show or as an anime, which is really impressive. We've all seen this 10-year-old boy fight
both of the season for Nisekoi? Yeah, season 1 and 2.
Fight in championships that we could only dream to be a part of. And I felt like I could not make an anime comparison or an anime theory video without including Ash Ketchum in some way because, let's face it, we all want to know what it would be like if Ash was in Cardfight Vanguard. You can't tell me you...
I don't know why I said that. I feel like people who watch Vanguard watch Pokemon, and that's why I said that. But really, I just really wanted to know. Because I love Pokemon, and I love the anime. And Ash sucks, but if he was in Vanguard, he probably wouldn't suck. That was my whole idea.
You'd be like, I wouldn't hate to see that cameo. Right?
Yeah, I do look like a baby without a beard. That's facts.
Let's talk about how it might happen. Now, really quickly before I get into
do I look tall? Chat, like right now I'm kind of sunken down. Do I look tall in this video versus like right now? Because I'm 6'3", but people don't know that because I sit down all the time. But me standing up, do I look tall? Let me know.
What deck / his avatar is, which I think is the more interesting part when it comes to Ash Ketchum.
In Vanguard, we have these things called avatars, and they're like basically your deck's boss monster.
Touch on what I think his role would be in Cardfight Vanguard. Overall, I think his role wouldn't be as a part of Aichi's crew. He wouldn't be one of Aichi's friends like, you know, Kamui, Misaki, Izaki, Morikawa, Miwa. He wouldn't be one of those guys. He would be a rival to Aichi because
I do this thing too. I do this in chairs. Yo, people, call this shiz out too when you see it in my videos. If you see me like rocking back and forth, I do that shiz. I do it, and I do it standing too. I get jittery. I get really jittery when I'm like talking to people, and when I talk to the camera, I'm doing it right now. You guys are, I do it right now, and I know that it's like a thing that I do because when I'm talking to the camera, it's like I'm talking to a person. And that's how I talk to people. I move around the space. I go big, and it looks weird on camera. I don't know what to do about it.
Aichi as an equal, much like his Paul, much like his Gary. And while the show may not be told in his perspective like we're used to seeing with Ash.
Yeah. I thought Ash would be a rival character, but not the kind of rival like Paul or Gary. He'd be like a best buddy rival. He'd be Aichi's Hal. You know, like he'd be like that, but he wouldn't be like lame. He would inject himself all the time into Aichi's shenanigans. What deck did I say he'd use? Oh, I think I said he'd use Pale Moon because they control beasts. That was a bit of a hot take. I said Yamayugi would use Geese because like Egyptian god card type vibe. I said Goku and Vegeta would be Royal Paladin and Shadow Paladin respectively, natural rivals, different ideals, but same family basically, United Sanctuary, Saiyans. Izuku Midoriya, I said he would use Dimension Police because they are literally the heroes of the Vanguard universe. And then I gave a secret character And okay, this will be a fun game. Chat, this secret character is from an isekai anime. If you know what that means, let me know your thoughts as to who it is. Because I promise you, you're not going to know. You're not going to know who it is. This last character. I even put like question mark. Secret. Like, who do you think it is? Let me know. I'll give you until 7 p.m. PST to let me know your answer. Otherwise, I will end stream abruptly and not say goodbye. How old is the anime? Dude, there's isekais. Okay, it's 2012. It's between now and 2012. That sandwich of time. I watched this video when you released it and I forgot. Yes! Even the OGs don't know. Even the OGs don't know. That's how you know you made a memorable video. This is the last guy though, and this is me just like blabbing on about someone I love. It's not Kirito. I don't care where Kirito goes, except the grave. I'm just kidding. I actually like Sword Art to an extent. Naofumi. Was Rising even out when I made this video? I don't think Rising came out in 2019, so it was out, but no. I at this point, I had not watched Rising of the Shield Hero at this point. But I do like Naofumi, and he'd basically be Kai, like straight up, so wouldn't be that impressive of a video to make. But like he'd be like a nicer Kai probably. But he'd be like given a bad rep though. I'll tell you what. He'd be given a bad rep in universe. All right, I'll just show you guys. So I thought it was SAO. No. It's between now and 2012. I think this actual anime came out in like either late 2012 or early 2013. Devil's a part-timer. Yes, someone said it. It's
so many objectively
Satoru Mao.
Amazing characters that exist.
It's Satoru Mao from Devil's a Part-Timer, which recently gotten confirmed for season 2, baby. Let's go. I'm so excited for that shiz, man. It's my favorite isekai of all time.
Countless animes.
First one I watched. I watched this before I watched SAO. Fact. Fact. Didn't even know it was an isekai for the longest time. I just thought it was a cool story. But then I learned what isekai was. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it is.
Any one character that I think you guys would like, I decided to be really subjective and pick one of my favorite anime characters of all time. Hatakaru Mao, or Mao Sado from The Devil is a Part-Timer. Mao may not be a super well-known character. He is a very deep character.
My guy! That's my guy right there! What's it? Staff manager McDonald's in, I don't think it's Tokyo. I want to say it's Shinjuku, but I could be wrong. My guy! That's my guy. If you have not seen A Devil's a Part-Timer, do yourself a favor. That anime is amazing. It's hilarious. It is so funny. Inuyasha's the original isekai. Fact. True. True. Okay. Enough of me looking at myself and crying laughing because I'm embarrassing as shiz. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for today's stream. First stream of 2022. We went down memory lane. We had some fun combos. I built a deck for set 6, and we berated, destroyed, we judged every competitive deck in the set 6 metagame. It was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for all your help, all your opinions, all your support. It means the world. I don't know when I'll be live next, but when I do, we'll be doing viewer battles over on Twitch. So be sure to follow there. Link is down below. Don't forget to like the stream on your way out. And as always, I've been your TrueChampionSteven. Please be sure to work hard, rest easy, live well, stay safe, happy, and healthy. And I will see you all next time. Peace.